All right. This is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena. We have a special show. It's not an open lines Friday, but it's going to be like the one that we had last Friday. So anybody can join, but it's a limited panel. We don't want too much chaos. First of all, shout out to everybody in the chat. Steph Case in the chat, the Paracua. Who else do we have here? The 1818. Jesus. Kristen Mack, the Quacks, Mars Boxeo, Roland Curtis. Who else do we have in here? Who else do we have? Rafael Garza, James Stephens. All right, guys, welcome to the show. So, I don't know, my mic, does it sound okay? Sounds a bit low.
Sounds fun.
All right. What was I going to say? Yeah, so next week we have a lot of shows. So we have the open, sorry. We have a call-in show, prediction show. Then we're going to have a countdown show on Friday because we have the New York Times card. So we're going to have a open lines like 4 hours. Like we're going to have going there for 4 hours nonstop. And then another preview. What's the countdown show for Saturday? So 2 countdown shows. So those are like open lines. So that's why I don't want to do an open lines today because that's going to be too much open lines, too much chaos. All right. The chaos needs to be controlled. All right. We have Never Sobers here and we have
Yo.
Ason. Yo, what's up, guys? What's up? So yeah, let's talk about anything you guys want. The weigh-in for Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn took place. It was a ceremonial weigh-in because they weighed in the morning over there in the UK. And Eubank missed weight by 0.05 pounds. Like, what the fuck? Like, how? Like, that's crazy. They should have just the fight's going to happen, but they fined Eubank Jr. $500,000. That's crazy. Or £500,000. That's crazy. But the fight's happening, guys. So, any thoughts? I think Eubank looks like weak.
Well, am I coming in clearly right now? Can you hear me clear?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, So when I first heard about this fight, like a while ago, I always thought that I kind of scoffed at it because I think that Chris Eubank is he's a bigger fighter and he's also a better fighter. Even if they were the same size, I still think Chris Eubank's better throughout his career. He's shown more potential, even though he like hasn't never really reached it. But he's shown more potential in his career than Conor Ben ever has. You know what I mean? This dude barely started showing some promise and then he fell off because he got caught with that little egg situation, right? Los
Yeah.
huevos, los huevitos, they were dirty,
Hmm.
So after that, he went back to being, an undersized guy in his division who throws a lot of punches with no power, right? So even at his peak, he never looked as good as Chris Eubank, even though Chris Eubank never really reached his potential, right? So I would favor Eubank, mostly in any matchup between them. But now seeing this weight situation where he couldn't even lose that half pound left, he was in there looking like Skeletor. And then I heard that he can only hydrate to 170 tomorrow at the most. So he's gonna be severely compromised, kind of like he was against Liam Smith. And I think they end up getting stopped,
Wait, what
and
happened?
that's why he's back.
What happened with the Liam Smith fight? Oh, he was compromised in that fight.
Yeah, I think there's something to do with the weight. Something with the weight where he was, because he was supposed to fight Chris Eubank, wasn't he? Or no, something happened. I can't remember what it was, bro.
Okay.
Or maybe I can't remember what it was. I have to. Dang.
You're
But I
talking
remember
about
that being a problem.
when he fought Liam Smith the first time when he lost. There was like there was something going on there.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, dude. But now that you're asking me about it, now you're
Yeah.
making me look like a dumbass.
Okay.
But
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe people in the chat will
don't
know.
ask questions because just fucking listen. Just like say yes.
All right. Yes. Yes. I remember now. Yeah. That, that thing. The thing. No, but he looked like shit in that fight. Remember? So see
I
what you're
think he had
saying.
fought at a weight. I think he went back down to 160, right, or
Oh,
154,
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because he can't make that weight. He
He
used to be
can't
at
make
160, but
160. He
he's
can't
no
make
longer
well.
165.
Clearly, he can't make 160 because this fight with Conor Ben, the limit was 160, and he struggled to make that weight. I mean, by a little bit, obviously, but he looks like shit. His cheekbones are sticking out and everything. So, yeah, definitely that's not his weight anymore. He's a 168 pounder. Now, when it comes to Conor Ben, I mean, this guy, he's saying that he feels okay. He feels fresh. That's he's fighting his walk around weight. But
Well, he
despite
came
that,
in
he's still
underweight.
much
Before he
smaller,
came in
though.
like at 156, right?
What's that?
He came in like 156, didn't he?
Oh shit! I gotta check. I don't know.
He came in underweight. He came in under 160, so he's
Bucho.
coming in comfortably, and like you said, his walk around weight
Okay,
basically.
wait.
And that's what I'm saying. Like this is kind of a setup bullshit fight. Chris Eubank Jr. is like compromising himself for a check, I guess. And I don't think it's gonna work out for him, bro.
Probably not. Even despite all of this, like despite the Eubank looking weak, he's still much bigger. And Roland Curtis in the chat says 156.4. Okay, 156.4. Uh, yeah, 156. But what, Stefke? What are you saying? He says Bucho that Lidley was 157 catch weight, but he came in at 160. The limit was the 170, 157 catch weight. Wait, what? I thought it was a 160 was the limit. No, 160 was the limit. Come on. See, that's why.
The fight is at 160, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
and Chris Eubank came in at like 160.4, and Connor Bennett came in around 156. So I'm saying he came in underweight.
Yeah, yeah. He came underweight. That reminds me of when De La Hoya fought Hopkins. He came in at 157 too. Yeah, 156.
Well, the dude maybe shouldn't be at the weight.
Definitely not. But I remember because De La Hoya, prior to Hopkins, he had that middleweight fight against Felix Stern. And he looked chubby, he looked fat, it was fucking funny. And he clearly lost that fight, in my opinion. But they gave him the decision. And then the fight after that, he fought Hopkins and he decided to just, fight at 157 and
Do you think he
be
took
in
a dive?
shape. What's that?
You think he took a dive against Hopkins?
I don't know, man. because he hit him with the glove open glove, with the wrist,
Yeah, yeah.
like
It was like a slap.
like a slap. But some people say no, that hurts. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been hit with a slap
And
like
he was
that.
like punching the ground and shit, right?
Yeah, what was that?
Was he punching the ground?
De La Hoya?
Yeah.
I don't remember, man.
I know he was rolling around
He
for a
was
minute, for
rolling.
like a second.
Yeah, yeah, a bit exaggerated. When you get hit in the body, you don't start rolling around like that. You just like you just take a knee or fall.
Right, you try to catch your
You
breath. He was
yeah,
like he was in a
exactly.
fucking
It
movie, right?
doesn't.
He starts rolling around like he's on fire and shit.
It's like a football player, like soccer player, right? They're rolling around like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
great.
he's trying to send it.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Yeah, he was punching the ground. Yeah, some brand is saying that. I think I remember.
Yeah, he was punching the ground, but that's what I'm saying. But he was like doing some funny shit. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was weird.
Go punch Hopkins. What are you doing?
Now, is there any chance for Conor Ben to win this fight?
I think he's gonna win because Chris Eubank is gonna be compromised. But I don't know. I think Chris Eubank is. We have to see how he looks on the rehydration because we've already seen Liam Smith knock him out. So
Yeah, but you know what?
if he's not he's not. They're not gonna give him enough time to properly hydrate. He's a bigger dude. He shouldn't be at the weight class. That's what gets people knocked out.
I mean, both shouldn't be at that weight class. If you think about it, right?
Yeah, maybe he's such a pillow puncher. Conor Ben is without the eggs. Who knows?
That's true. Conor Ben, in my opinion, looks like a junior welterweight, but we'll see. All right, do we have any?
He looks small for a welterweight. He's small for a welterweight. He's tiny for 154. He's very small 160. He can't even make. He's not even making 160.
Yeah. No, I mean, Ben will have a chance if Eubank is actually completely weak because of making 160, and then on top of that, tomorrow morning, they have to weigh in again, and they can't go above
170.
170, right? So, everybody was talking about how Chris Eubank is so big, and he has the advantage, but maybe it's a disadvantage at this point because of the 160, the limits that are being placed on this fight.
With the rehydration clause, for sure, for sure. And that's why I guess his dad don't want anything to do with the fight, right?
Yeah,
he's done interviews about it.
Yeah, he keeps saying that we don't do this, we don't do this, and yes, we don't do this. Like we don't fight people from different weight divisions. Like we're warriors. We're Britain. But he's kind of right though. No, but he called it a circus fight, and he doesn't want to be part of it, which I guess I can understand. Some random says Eubank Senior is a disgrace. Why is he a disgrace? I don't know. A lot of interviews of his have been showing up on my feed for some fucking reason. So I was watching this interview he was doing, and I mean, I don't know. This guy seems a bit like too philosophical for me, to be honest. But he's right in the sense that this fight, it's a circus fight. But I'll be watching because I want to know what happens. I have a feeling there's gonna be a rematch. That's just a feeling. I don't know. Depends on what happens, obviously. What are people saying in the chat here? By the way, I don't know if that's Solidus. Solidus, you should join and debate us. I know you like to debate. All right.
We just commented out loud the one that he said about kissing Farrakhan's picture.
What? He was kissing Farrakhan's picture. The white man. The white man. All right, we have the Kiwi. Can I call you Kiwi?
Yo, what's up? Yeah, sure. A lot of people. Some people call me Fight. Some people call me Kiwi because I'm from New Zealand. Yeah, whatever.
And we also
They turn me
have
back on.
the legendary Furioso joining.
What's happening? What's happening?
What's happening? What's happening?
What are you saying? What are you saying?
What's happening in the UK? What are people saying about this fight? It's obviously very big, right?
They're saying it's selling 65,000 tickets, Tottenham Stadium. When has an American boxer, or for that matter of fact, any boxer in the world, and I know we have to talk about money with this fight. We can't talk about belts, can we? And unifications and bullshit like that, and good stuff like that. So we have to talk about the commercial. When did an American boxer, since the black and white days, sell 65,000 tickets? Never.
Well,
Yeah, never.
Well, never in a long time.
When you say to America, never, yeah, you can understand the commercial value, isn't it? It's crazy massive. Everybody's going to make money out of it, out of these two fools.
So, do you think there's any shenanigans involved in this fight, or I mean...
Of course there is. Look at there's two weight classes up, so they've had to handicap Eubank, haven't they? Like horse racing, and bring him down a level.
Yeah,
of course he did, because the check's good. Yeah, because the check is good. Because he's signed for the handicap, hasn't he? So he's been handicapped. The guy can't go over 10 pounds all night. So he's not allowed to. He can't eat much. He can't drink much. Yeah. And in the morning, he's got another weigh-in, by the way. He's got another weigh-in in the morning. He's not allowed to be over 10 pounds. So that good stuff when they do the weigh in the day, in the night, obviously you fill up, don't you? You have a good sleep, whatever, your body reforms and neutralize, gets all the good stuff back in. So he's not allowed to put any good stuff back in. He's going to have to sleep all fucked, all feeling like a motherfucker. And in the day, it's not going to give his body enough time to recover, to fill out and what have you. So if Ben is aggressive with him up close, he could, fold him. And I think he will.
Well, I'm still putting more emphasis on Eubank being the bigger guy.
Skills.
Ben is still stepping up 2 weight divisions, and
I know, like Never Sobers was saying. Actually, he was saying earlier, he is the more accomplished, better, had better challengers, been at the higher level. Eubank, of course, he is, and he's higher weight. But the thing is, they are handicapping him.
Okay,
the motherfucker's handicapped.
I remember
he's not the normal Eubank.
Yeah,
he's a handicapped fighter.
I remember the establishment, people from the UK telling me that if AJ ever fought Fury, that the establishment was going to favor AJ, obviously. Is there something similar going on here in the UK? Is there a favorite for the establishment?
I think there's some bias towards Conor Benn because he's the younger guy, and Eubank, he's the guy that a lot of that Eddie Hearn and particularly Hearn, but also Warren, they don't like, because he and his dad, they went independent. They didn't sign long-term promotional deals, and promoters don't like that. But I don't think they're going to pull any shenanigans in terms of the scorecards. I mean, maybe they will, but they're both UK fighters, so it's Hearn definitely wants Eubank to get crushed, but that's just normal.
Now, if this fight's generating so much money, as Firoz was saying, then they're going to want to see a rematch, obviously, right? And so if they allow things to play the way they should, meaning rehydration codes, like just having a fair fight, then I think Chris Eubank Jr. wins this fight, and then it's over, and nobody wants to see a rematch. But they have to make it competitive, right?
Yeah, if the fight allows that, if the outcome is worthy, of course they'll milk the hell out of it. So it depends on that. But if someone gets flattened, obviously it's circumstantial, isn't it? But yeah, they would love to have I don't know about a trilogy, but yeah, it's good market value on the fight.
This will be so dumb if they try pull off a rematch. This will be so dumb. I mean, the fight to begin with was pointless because again, you got a small guy jumping up when he's in his prime against a guy who's never. I mean, he tried once to become a world champion. He failed miserably against Groves, and since then, Eubank's ducked the biggest names. So they can't get away with a rematch. I mean, they'll try, maybe Hearn will talk about it, but this whole thing, it's really just about can Ben save his career, because he's been nobody views him as a legit fighter since the failed test and how he went about it, and Eubank is handicapping himself because, yeah, like you said, he's getting paid well. But if Ben wins, then he's definitely not going back down to welterweight. Like, all this talk about him fighting Boots Ennis is a joke. So
he'll probably operate at 154.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of action there. There's a hell of a lot of action, Virgil, Boots, etc., etc.
But what I was going to say is 154 is an even tougher division. Like 154, I think, is the most stacked division in the sport. So they're not. If Conor Benn avoided the best welterweights, which he did, then definitely not going to put him in with the best light middleweights. Like, he'll get crushed.
Yeah, this is a fantasy, and Eubank's also, like I said, been handicapped. He's not at full power. You know what I'm saying? He's taken, the turbos have been taken off, everything. The guy won't be firing on all cylinders, as one says. So that's why. Because he won't. It's impossible. The human, the guy's is not eating and drinking how he should be. Yeah. And he's not that professional. He's a bit of a party guy. Let's face it. So it's easy that he's feeling the squeeze even more. Eubank's a show-off. He likes to go to parties and show off his name. Yeah.
I will say that egg slap from Eubank will always go down as one of the greatest moments in press conference history.
Well, I think he glossed me. That's better.
Yeah, I thought the egg was better just because of Eubank's reaction. I mean,
the whole egg thing,
I mean, Chisora,
right?
Chisora was asking for it because he did go up to David Haye he didn't go up to Haye to give him a hug, so he was asking for it. Whereas with Ben, it just came out of nowhere and it was hilarious.
Yeah,
it
was very appropriate. It was very appropriate.
Yeah, there's a part of me that wants Ben to get knocked out just so I can do a video with all of these egg memes.
I'm not crazy fussed on either guy, quite frankly. Because I don't think Eubank's definitely not the guy. He's sort of at the tail end of his career, quite frankly. He might get a title shot or something, but he ain't going to win it, and unless he's a bum. So Ben, he's also I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he beats like your Boots Ennis, your Virgils when he does try and operate at 154. So he isn't. So what Ben knows that. So what Ben is doing, in one fight, he's getting like championship, world champion money, yeah? Like 5 defenses worth. If he was world champion and he made 5 defenses, the money he gets for that is what he's making in this fight. 65,000 pay-per-view, fucking, everyone's bothered. They are. It's all over the bloody press. It literally is now. I turn everywhere. It's just Eubank, Ben, everywhere I turn. Social media, the news, Sky News, BBC, ITV, bloody hell. Because the dad's there also, Ben. And Ben is the folklore hero in the UK, not Eubank. So they've kind of been clever. They've kept the Eubanks away, and now Nigel's getting the limelight with his son. Because he's shown away at the early stages of his career. He said, I want to keep away. I wanted my Conor to do his thing. Yeah. I don't want to be in his, on his toes, on his back like you Senior was. So Senior now is playing a different strategy. He obviously he's fallen out with his son too. Mm-hmm. So he's not there. But Ben is closer to Conor now more than ever. He never used to be. So that also brings limelight because Nigel Benn's a legend here in the UK.
Bigger than Eubank, you're saying?
Of course. He went to the army here. When his entrances to the ring was like the corporal army group. They would come and do like a band, the band. Right. The regiment he was in. They did an entrance. That's what his entrance was. Okay. Yeah, so he's respected for that because he was in the army here. He's like an army boy. That's where he learned how to box. Because obviously you guys know.
I don't think there's any good guy, bad guy in this whole thing because, yeah, the Eubanks are not. A lot of people don't like the Eubanks because of their attitude, but no, I mean nobody's liked Conor Benn after this whole drug. I mean nobody could have handled the positive test worse than he did, except for Ryan Garcia. So it's not. I don't think there's really a side that the British public are on. I think they just want to. I mean, there are people who will love seeing Eubank get knocked out, and there are people who will love seeing Ben get his comeuppance. Obviously, Hearn, we all know who Hearn wants to see win, but this whole thing is weird to me because he's now, the fight is actually happening at a higher weight class, or there's no catch weight, whereas there was a catch weight for the original scheduled fight. So Ben is putting on more weight, therefore he's stepping, after this fight, win or lose, he's going to have to stay there because if he drops the weight, he's just going to do the Roy Jones thing.
Yeah, no. By the way, what I've noticed on the internet is Chris Eubank Jr. has more supporters. This is what
I think he's swayed it a bit. Actually, he has.
Because
people know
he's gained some. He has. Although he is hated here, he has gained a lot of support because Ben sort of, I don't know, maybe the drugs and the accusations, everything. He lost some momentum and some respect. So they've chosen out of the both devils because they both I would say, not that crazy loved. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not loved like a Ricky Hatton. You know, he's a hometown. But anyway, yeah. So I think Eubank has got to gain some fans. He has, even though he's hated like hell. Because I remember when he fought Groves, obviously the English guy, white boy, yeah. He was hated. No one wanted Eubank. Unless you were his family and his orientation.
The Eubanks, they don't get a lot of support because of their attitude towards the best fighters in the world, and yet they haven't fought the best fighters. Like Eubank tried once with Groves and failed miserably, and since then it was just duck the best fighters and usurp the industry for as much money as possible. So fans don't like that, and he got away with it. I mean, Tony Bellew was kind of like that, but Tony Bellew showed heart whenever he moved up, whereas Eubank, he just got cleaned out, and we never even heard about him challenging for a belt again. So but Ben, again, he's turned everybody against him. So I think more people want to see Ben get knocked out, but I mean, maybe they'll try something with the scorecards, but this is just Eubank cashing out after a good career money-wise, but a failed career in terms of becoming world champion.
Now,
I think $500,000 for an ounce was quite steep, the fine. Jesus, that was quite a lot. It's literally an ounce. It's literally an ounce.
What is it? You take off your underwear, I guess, and you can make weight.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, I know it's still failed, but damn.
Yeah.
0.02. So it's like an ounce.
If you don't want those steep fines, you shouldn't sign
No,
up.
yeah, but Jesus, it's like just like blowing your nose, surely.
Yeah. If Eubank wins this fight and there's no rematch, what's next for you? What would be next? Like he gets a title shot, and I'm looking at the champions. Like for example, would he fight at middleweight or super middleweight after this fight?
He'll definitely have to move up to super middle.
So how's he gonna get a title shot there? Like who's he gonna fight? Canelo's gonna be fighting Crawford after the skull fight, and then there's.
No, I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to be a parody fighter. Like this fight is a parody already. It's like a Jake Paul. He's like, maybe you'll fight a Jake Paul. That's where the business is now. That's where there's serious money. Them guys are making more money than world champions ever did. Boxing champions. It's an absolute mockery the way the sport has gone. Because you got YouTubers with fantasy fights making a mockery of these professionals that have to really graft. I mean, they do too, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, It's staged, isn't it? A bit more.
Well, Butcho, very interesting you bring that up, because I was just on a show the other day, and it was announced that apparently the winner of this fight could actually be in the line to fight Canelo, and Turki Al-Sheikh has actually showed interest in that. So the Canelo fight could actually happen. And if so, I mean, I'm Canelo's biggest critic anyway. I mean, everybody who's seen me on these shows knows that. It'll just be further evidence that Canelo's looking to cash out. And of course, Eubank will take the fight if he gets a chance. So, I mean, maybe he will look for a title shot at super middleweight, because William Skull is one of the weakest champions ever. So it'll make sense for him.
William Skull's gonna outclass your boy, and I don't know why you're up in your feelings.
Oh yeah.
Don't take the Cuban sensation.
I don't even
We have Telkines.
I'm the biggest. I'm the biggest Canelo critic.
You thought I would listen to this Conor Ben, Nigel Ben running his ass at the press conference? I am not going to listen to those lies. My sources said the exact opposite, bro.
So what do you?
Conor Ben acting like a baby. Conor Ben acting like a baby during sparring, bro. And they have the audacity to tell some bullshit at a press conference? Nah. They need to check themselves, because Eubank is going to knock the shit out of that clown tomorrow.
Oh. Well, it could happen. I mean, possible. Time will tell. But you're saying the same thing about William Skull beating Canelo. That's where I don't trust your judgment.
Yeah, it's a bit...
You see what I'm saying? I mean, I want to believe you. Yeah, okay, Eubank does that. But then when you, on the flip side, you turn the page and your next prediction is, William Skull's knocking Canelo out. I'm like...
I never said he was knocking him out. I said he was going to put him on his ass, and he's going to win a split decision.
Oh, ass, yeah. So he's going to knock him down. He's never been knocked down. Exactly, my friend.
Exactly. Canelo's never been... I mean, he's never even come close to getting knocked down. So William Skull is just...
William Skull has never been wobbled. I've never seen him wobbled.
Yeah, William Skull is... I criticize Canelo for a lot, but one thing you can't take away from him is his chin and toughness. And William Skull is just a complete cherry pick, and it's one that Canelo can.
How is it a cherry pick? Canelo ducked him for 2 years, bro.
How about you stop talking for a second? It's a cherry pick that he's gotten away with because Benavidez moved up, and so did Morrell. Morrell lost to Benavidez, so there's no one really for him to fight because the division's weak all of a sudden. But yeah, William Skull has beaten nobody, hasn't proven anything. He's probably the most hittable Cuban of all time, aside from Luis Ortiz. So there's nothing special about this fight. It's just a placeholder for Canelo.
When he schools Canelo, I'm gonna be here to catch your tears, bro. I'm gonna be here to catch your tears.
Look, man, all right. I can't deal with this clown, so I'm out. Thanks for having me on, Butcho. Peace out, guys.
Oh wow. Kiwi's gone.
See, that's how you deal with them people, Butcho. That's how you deal with them, right there.
What do you see in William Skull that makes you believe that he's going to win the fight?
Well, that and watching a lot of Nicolino Loche highlights and stuff, in which he has very much similarities with. I definitely know that his slickness, his footwork, his upper body movement is what's going to make it a hard time for Canelo. And when he sits and unloads his shots, one of my favorites is his trademark lead uppercut. And I'm going to be there every step of the way, man. William Skull's going to win this fight.
Are you going to place a bet on this? I think you should.
I'm a religious man. I don't bet anymore. I haven't bet since Andy Ruiz versus Joshua.
You made some money there?
Hey, Telecanines, religion is the root of all evil. People use it as excuses. They use it as anything they wish to be, don't they? Conveniently, you're all religious now because, because it's like, I mean, the odds are shit hot. Canelo's he's the 33-1 favorite. Canelo is. Okay, that's what the odds are. He's a 33-1 favorite. So if you're
Big
believing,
payday. That's a big payday if you put money on Skull. I mean,
if you're
there you
believing
go.
what you're believing, you need to put money on that shit because William can make you a very rich man.
You can't.
You feel me?
Opportunity.
But now you've gone all
He
religion
doesn't
on
believe
our
it, though.
asses.
He doesn't believe it.
I know he's
I
gone
do
all
believe it
religious on our
100%.
asses.
I believe in William Skull 100%. Don't get
I
that
mean,
messed
now
up.
you've now all of a
saying they
sudden
get attention.
Jesus,
man. It's gonna knock him
Jesus
out.
Christ, Telk, you've seen Jesus all of a sudden. Put money on
I haven't seen
William then.
this all of a sudden. What are you talking about?
No, but
Gonna
yeah, I
knock
don't
him
know,
out
the religious. Put money on that shit, Telk. Don't start getting all religious on me, mate. You know what I'm saying?
I've been religious the whole time, man. Come on now.
Have you? All right. If that's the case, I respect you, my friend.
All right. Well, you're missing a big opportunity here.
Yeah.
I just have to say that the odds are pretty juicy here. I mean, so
I'm gonna try to.
You think he's
I'll
gonna get
probably put $5 on it.
You think he's gonna get a? You think he's gonna get a decision? Like really?
I think he's gonna win 10-2 to win a 7-5 split decision.
10-2. What the hell?
Damn.
Okay.
You've worked that one out. Compensation,
you have to beat Canelo 10-2 in order to get a 7-5 over.
I like the way you've done the math.
He's not going to beat Canelo. That's the thing.
All right. Well, guys, I don't know if you heard, but Pacquiao apparently is gonna make a comeback in the month of July, and they're talking about him fighting Mario Barrios, who's the WBC welterweight champion at this moment.
You know what's fucked up? They absolutely disrespect Mario Barrios, bro. Like, just ever since that dude got a belt on his hands, he's been like the hottest chick at 147. Everybody's trying to fuck. Everyone's trying to get to her first, right? Because they just look at him as food. Even Manny Pacquiao, who looked like shit in his little his comeback exhibition fights, think he can take this dude on. Watch Mario Barrios whoop his ass, bro.
Yeah, you're right there. Barrios, he is still beatable though, isn't he? But then he's now champion or something. He's got that extra confidence. But they do see him as like a straight up and down guy, don't they? He is underrated like that. For sure.
Food.
He is. But
he's better at 147 than he was at 140. He's shown that he has a decent chin. You know, he let Keith Thurman tee off on him for 12 rounds. You know what I mean?
He did, didn't he? For Tank got him with the uppercut, didn't he?
Yeah.
The uppercut and stuff, on the inside. So that's the thing. But yeah, he's tall and long, isn't he? I know what you mean. Good, decent jab. 1-2. Is it 1-2 merchant?
And Pacquiao's
He's
gonna be 46.
confident enough to beat up an old guy.
You know what I mean? Just the fact Pacquiao's gonna be 46.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
he's confident enough to beat up an old guy, so.
I think he's already 46.
Yeah, he's 46 already, yeah. So, just setting.
That's quite astonishing, that is. You think where Floyd is right now, Floyd Mayweather is, and we're talking about Manny fighting like a champion. Real fight. It's crazy.
You're right. He's not fighting Gotti the third or some shit.
It's astonishing. It's astonishing. I mean, God knows how he's doing it. I mean, he must be on some sort of untraceable route, ginger of some sort. Fuck no, I don't know what he's having, Pacquiao, but he's having some good stuff.
Well, we'll see if he looks good fighting Barrios, if that fight happens. I was gonna say something about Pacquiao. Fuck, I forgot. He's 46.
Well,
I was gonna say people are comparing this comeback to George Foreman and all, but George Foreman was a heavyweight. He's fighting at the welterweight division. Everything's speed, it's fast, and that's the first thing you fucking lose, right? The speed. I don't know. I don't think he has a chance here.
And also Foreman, he retired based off he was like depressed for losing for a second time. It's not like that he lost his ability to fight. It was all mental. Pacquiao's losing his physical ability to fight.
Yeah, in the welterweight division, you gotta be fast.
And he fought that one guy that was like a Japanese Muay Thai fighter he didn't look too good against them. And
but I do think half the quality of Pacquiao, so if he's on half, 50%, not the age though, forget the age, he is, he's 46, whatever. A 50% Pacquiao is good enough to beat Barrios, like for skills and stuff. He's got absolutely everything on Barrios, sort of footwork, speed. Obviously he's old now, he hasn't got that, I know that. But 50% skills of Pacquiao schools of Barrios.
Well, how do you? Yes, I would think so, but
I don't
I don't know if he still has any of that though. He looked terrible against Ugas. Now I know it's different style. Ugas is not Barrios, different styles, but still, what I'm saying is that he looked like okay, you don't have it anymore. Time to retire.
Well, Pacquiao lost to Ugas, didn't he?
Yeah, and then Barrios went on to beat Ugas for the belt.
Didn't Pacquiao lose to Ugas, a younger Ugas that
he's old. I mean, Pacquiao. Yeah. I'm saying like a younger Pacquiao. He's old now.
Yeah.
He's finished.
That would have been like 3 rounds tops after that.
Yeah, like a young.
Yes, Pacquiao.
Yeah, not now.
No, not now. And Pacquiao, look, he survived in the welterweight division because of his abilities, because he had a significant size disadvantage, but he compensated that with like the speed. He still had power. But now he lost all of that. So he's basically a small, old welterweight. Chances of him, being successful are slim.
Pacquiao had that crazy in and out shit. He's in, out, in, around. Fucking, he's everywhere, the motherfucker.
In Pacquiao's style, he always relied on physical gifts, right? Not just his speed and power, but also his just unorthodox movement that no one else can do. Like have one foot up in the air and still knock you out with a straight left hand. Like no one else can do that. That's just Pacquiao stuff right there. Everybody else has to have perfect form, perfect torque, where he's got fucking terrible footwork when he throws his punches, yet he's still knocking you all over the ring. That's something he could do when he was young and he still had those gifts, but those go away as you get older.
Yeah. No, he has no business at welterweight. He has no business being in a professional ring. I mean, at this level. And I'm being fucking serious. But he will get a title shot for sure.
All my fans in the chat. I've got loads of fans in the chat. I can see. Please hit the link. Windy City, Don Ramon. Do you know what I'm saying? Hit the link. I know. You know what I'm saying. You got the chance to speak to. You know what I mean?
You like
your
to place
man.
bets. Furious, I know you like to place bets. Are you placing any bets for the upcoming fights? This one and the Ryan Garcia, Lopez, any of those?
Yeah, bloody everything. On everything. Of course I do. Anthony Yards to beat Lyndon Arthur. Shitload. Yeah, just put them all in. They're all going to win, aren't they?
So you're going with the favorites? Any opposites?
I'm going for the long shots. I'm going for Ramirez just because of the value. I'm not saying he's going to win.
Right, Jared. It's a bet.
No, I'm taking the value. I'm going to put, like, say, $10 on it. It gets you back 70. And not, you know what I mean? You could get like cash out on that stuff. Say Ramirez drops Haney early on in the first 6 rounds, for instance, and have a knockdown. Yeah, that cash out, my cash out will go straight away, say to 20, 30. So I could even cash out there. Easy 10 chicken wings. Bang. You know what I mean? And
you see value in that. I don't know. Some people really don't see.
I'm going to counter a gamble like that with all the favorites on the night and make my money back, theoretically speaking.
Yeah.
So Haney, Lyndon Arthur, there's loads that weekend. Anu is super favorite, but yeah, all them dudes. There's loads of stuff to pick. This next 2 weeks, boxing's lit. It's probably the hottest. It's probably the hottest 2 weeks going to be the hottest 2 weeks of the year, actually.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been hyping up this fight for a while. Next month, I think May 24th is the day. You got Angelo Leo going to Japan to fight Tomoki Kameda. I think that's going to be a pretty good scrap.
Yeah. Next weekend, you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
On that card. Do you know, Quentin?
Huh?
What'd
you ask?
I asked if Nunez is fighting on the card.
I have to look that up.
I think he's actually fighting for the title sometime in May.
I gotta look at the odds for all of these fights.
Bakole, Munguia.
Oh yeah, Munguia is fighting Suraz, the rematch.
Munguia, Badu Jack. This is an even fight, but I don't know this guy. Badu Jack's fighting. No.
Talking about McKaylen. McKaylen's a damn good fighter.
Michele Jean.
Yeah, that's the guy that arguably got robbed by Breedis years back. He's a pretty good fighter.
Where's he from?
Russia, but I think he lives in Germany.
No, he's from Armenia. Stop trolling, man.
Armenia. It's close. It's close enough.
Yeah, same thing, right? They both got like the Arabic beard. They both hate America.
Tell that to an Armenian. Tell that to an Armenian. They'll probably shoot you.
It's the Iron Curtain realm.
Hey, I talked to what's his name? The other Fury fan. What's his name? Gypsy King. He didn't do anything.
Hey, Conor Ben by stoppage 3-1.
3-1. I mean, yeah, it's looking that way. A late stoppage. The guy's dehydrated.
Yeah, because they just saw how he looked in the weigh-in. Maybe they started changing the fucking odds now. I mean, the guy.
People don't.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. Yeah, this the two weights, but things have been evened up. You got a weak guy, and you got a guy that's he's smaller, but he's on full throttle, full force. He's bouncing. He's full of energy. On full silverback mode. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Eubank, he's not on silverback mode. He's on, the young one. He's wasted. He's burnt out.
Well, it will really all depend tomorrow on how well Eubank rehydrates. If he's under 170, should be fine, right? But if he doesn't really rehydrate that well, then he's.
The thing is, he's got a problem tomorrow. If he doesn't meet the weight tomorrow, he's got another fine. Yeah.
How much would that be? Do you guys know?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how much it is.
I mean, $1 million? What the fuck?
I don't know how much it is, but he has to stay within 10 pounds overnight, and in the morning he's weighed. If it's over, that's another fine. So the guy's under huge financial, physical, emotional he's on low. The tank's low. You've played the computer game, and you know them energy things you need. He needs them energy things, and he can't have them.
So, I mean, tonight, I don't know, what time is it over there in the UK now? I don't know. But, Ben is probably, eating whatever he fucking wants, having, relaxed, not eating. Eubank's probably, not eating shit still. Drinking.
He's not allowed to drink that much water as he wants. That's the thing.
What time's the weigh-in? What time's the second day weigh-in?
In the morning.
I'm not sure about that, but I don't know if it's early morning or 10 or what. But it's in the morning.
I don't think it looks very good for Ben because he came in 2 pounds over the first time, so he had to work pretty hard and didn't even make it. That means when I was wrestling, I used to make crazy weight and stuff like that, and those last couple of pounds will really waste you. And he tried to make it. I don't think it looks good for him with that rehydration clause.
You mean Ben or Eubank?
Sorry, Eubank.
Eubank.
Yeah, you said Ben. Yeah, you said okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those guys they don't even bathe because your water can actually soak up. I mean, your body can actually soak up water when you're bathing, so they don't even bathe because that might put on more weight.
Hey, just to put things into perspective here, the weight constraints that Ryan Garcia had with Tank, it wasn't just overnight. So Ryan had to be literally a whole week under a certain, you couldn't go over a certain sort of weight or whatever. You had to stay in that sort of limit all along. So it meant not drinking, eating, whatever, as much as he would want, because he's being constrained, he's being shrunk, so to speak. That was a whole week. That's why Ryan, when he went into that ring, he looked like He looked a weakling. You could see his ribs, dude. You could see his ribs. Come on.
Also, with that Ryan Garcia fight, it was, I don't know if you remember, it was reported, and for some reason discussion of it dropped, but it was reported that part of the agreement was Ryan Garcia would not take a stay busy fight. I don't know you guys remember that.
Yes. There was everything. It was the worst deal you could ever have, but he just obviously, but he was getting 25 million minimum for it. So he also sold, dare I say, his soul, so to speak, and took that chance, thinking, you know, I might. But he was getting handsomely paid. They both were. But the guy who was like wasted was Ryan because of the constraints. And Tank came in full throttle, you know, bouncing around, you know, full of energy. Ryan didn't have that energy. He was constrained the whole week. He had to be under certain limits. People don't look at things like that. It's like whatever, but come on. They attack your gas tank. They certainly do. That's where they hit you. That's what they've done with Eubank. I mean, he might win.
Yeah, and you're right about Eubank now just focusing on the money because he agreed to all of this nonsense, right? The federation goes. So why would you do that? I mean, do you want to be a champion or do you want to just fight for money? He's willing to do all this shit for a paycheck.
Yeah, 12 million. Yeah, that's how much.
But you guys also think about something though, guys. If a fine for like a couple of ounces of missing the weight is $500,000, you can imagine what their purse bids and what they're getting at the end, can't you? So
I imagine that fine goes up to
they're getting well paid.
Pound. You know, they're usually fined per pound over or per half pound over. He wasn't fined for just. He wasn't fined for a half ounce. He was fined for not making weight. You know.
I could understand. By the way, I count. Are you gonna jump in? If not, let other people join, please.
I'm AMAC.
What the fuck?
I'm here.
All right, it's AMAC.
I just didn't want to talk over people and interrupt them.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
Yeah, you do it all the time.
What the fuck? That's why I like. Is this the real AMOC? Because he should be interrupting everybody right now.
What do you mean? Like,
I'm kidding. All right, we have Gonzalo as well. I think it's Gonzalo.
Hey, how's it going?
Yo, what's up?
Shout out to Gonzalo. Shout out. Long time no hear that legendary voice.
What's up, apology?
How are we doing, my friend?
Not apologies, Furioso, man.
Is that Gonzalo?
Oh, sorry, Furioso. Sorry. Hey, what's up,
Gonzalo? How we doing, Gonzalo? How we doing?
Doing pretty good. I texted BDA the other day, my thoughts, because I was re-listening last about a show.
Yeah, tell us your predictions, dude. Tell us your predictions.
I'm not in around the eighth round. I'm going to say eighth round. It's too powerful. Even though he's a smaller guy, that's too old, man. Never did anything when he was younger. He got knocked out by Liam Smith, I believe, just recently.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, he's old.
I don't know why he got like.
But he got back though. He knocked him back out.
And he did knock him back out. Fight. The first fight he was winning. I think he just got too careless in the ropes and everything. He got caught.
He did get him back on the rematch. He knocked Smith out in the rematch.
He's better than Smith. Come on, like.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You can say he's better, but what has he ever done?
No, nothing.
So it's kind of one of those things where you get played by the media, they make you believe something just because he's a son of the other Eubank father.
Mm-hmm.
And he's flashy and he works on the mids and he throws a good uppercut. And he used to be fast. He used to be fast because he's not young anymore. That's the thing. And then he was never champion ever.
He was the IBO. He was the IBO champion.
I was just Ceylon. I think he's done so little, and he's just he's never shown us how good he is. There's no way to judge someone.
He's never been a dedicated, my friend. My friend, he's never been a dedicated. professional.
It's like a hobby.
It's
He's a party goer. He likes going to all the parties and whatever. Yeah, he trains, and he's not disciplined. Even his trainer, the guy who trained his dad, went on to train the son. Yeah, obviously the junior. He said himself, heard an interview him saying, "Look, he doesn't listen. He doesn't. He goes on a tantrum. He wants to do his own thing." Even Roy Jones couldn't get him going. Let's face it, Roy Jones Jr.
I don't remember that lasting long at all. What was that? 1 fight, 2 fights?
Yeah, exactly. He's a celebrity boxer, isn't he? With a little bit of, he gets all the breaks because of his name. He's a lucky motherfucker. If it wasn't for the name, he wouldn't be anywhere near where he is. That's what it is. Like Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, Chuck Jr.
He did do all right. So he did some good deal. But I'm just, they get the breaks, don't they?
He did a little bit.
Well, I would say that we saw with JCC Jr. that he did have something. He just didn't do much with it.
Yeah, he's
Ben,
all right.
I don't even know what he's got.
Well, he fought George Groves. To me, that was a very important fight because he was fighting at top middleweight in the semifinal of the World Boxing Super Series. He lost that fight, and when that happened, I was like, oh, maybe this guy's not as good as people were saying. He had already lost to Billy Joe Saunders before, I remember. So I think he failed those two massive tests. The Saunders fight, the Groves fight. After that, everything was just about money and the name.
Yeah.
The thing
about Chris Eubank is, okay, you can't really judge him because he hasn't showed you. But if he didn't show you when he's young, you think he's going to show you when he's old?
I don't think so.
He's never going to show. He's never did.
I think he has shown you. I think he showed you he's a cash grab fighter. I mean, at least it seems to me.
And his father knows that. His father, he keeps saying it. He's like, he's just fighting for money. That's it's not the way of the warrior,
Yeah, his dad just noticed, I guess.
He just noticed. Yeah, I guess he was in denial all this time, and now he's like, okay, fuck it. It is what it is.
All right, I think Conor Ben's going to be similar to that too, because both of them, when you think about this, is like the complete meaning of a prize fight, right? They realize, all right, the other guys are way too dangerous in and around our weight division, so why don't we just fight each other? Like, that's a prize fight right there. I don't see them doing much after this fight. Even Conor.
Do you blame them?
No, I don't.
Making
that's
this
why
fight? Do you blame the promoters and everything for making this fight?
No, because like over there in the UK, that's a huge fight. You got two legendary, British boxing family names, Ben and Eubank, right? So I can't blame them. But this is just prize fighting. I'm not all these, boxing purists that think, oh yeah, what are they going to do after this? Because they're not going to do anything after. You just got to, realize the fact that these guys are not, top tier professional fighters. They're fighting basically off their name, so you can't expect anything of them. At least that's how I see it. So I can't shit on them too much because they just don't look like they're that talented to where like, oh yeah, Conor Ben's going to take over the world. No, he's food for everybody. I think he even knows that, which is why he's taking this fight for Chris Eubank.
I can't blame nobody for making it. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with it either. I mean, to me, it's a novelty fight for all the reasons we've mentioned. These aren't people who are interested in doing anything. Here's something we can do for a whole lot of money. And it don't have to amount to much, but a big pile of dough.
Yep.
I don't mind the fight, though. I think the fight's going to be exciting.
Yeah, but if Conor
Ben's clashing will be an exciting fight. So, I mean, although, I don't know, can't see his username, but although it's a novelty fight, I think it's going to be an entertaining one.
Definitely. I mean, I got a feeling that Conor Ben's going to waste Eubank.
Same.
People are saying that.
I mean, I just got a weird feeling. Like, I don't think he's better, but like, God, that missing weight like that, after trying to make it.
If he does beat Eubank, he's going to have some really good matchups at 154, and he'll be the biggest sort of pulling card at 154 because he'll be the guy selling 65,000 tickets, wanting to fight Boots, wanting to fight Virgil, wanting to fight all the 147s that moved off basically, because that 154 is a lit division. It is now because you've got Virgil there, you've got Boots there. That alone is enough.
Everybody in the top 15 is competitive enough that nothing's a sure thing.
Okay, hey guys. Finish your point,
So Ben's using this really also in preparation for 154, really. because he'll then that's one fight fighting at a higher weight. Yeah, what's he weighed in? I think he weighed in at 154 for this fight.
158, 156,
158. There you go. So nice. He'll trim perfectly for 154, and he'll whether he'll win or do anything at 154. It's another question. I don't think he will. But he will make some big matchups and make money.
He could have some kind of a run there if he picks a couple of opponents, carefully. Then he can get the shit kicked out of him by someone more capable for an even bigger fight.
And you'll persuade Virgil or Boots to come to the UK, to come to Saudi, because he's the stadium seller. These guys can't really sell a bloody arena in America at the minute.
That's true.
Yeah,
and they
this could be a huge thing.
And they'll probably think, hey, I can go, and they'll probably go because they're like, I think I can beat Ben. I'll go to the UK. I'm not scared,
Oh, they'll take the money, of course. Yeah, they'll get paid well for it for sure. They'll have to.
Better than the US. And by the way, Conor Ben by winning by stoppage. By decision, it's 8.5 to 1. How is that even possible? Am I looking at this correctly?
They probably think he's gonna stop him. That's probably why they don't.
You're saying 8 to. Let's have a look. 8 to 1.
Yeah, 8.5. 8 and 1.5.
That's it. Oh yeah, it is.
What?
I haven't got that price. I've got 15 to 2, which obviously 2 divided by 15, it's nearly 6 to 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm using bet 5.
No, 8 to 1. Yeah, 2 times 8.
16 divided by
7.5 to 1. Yeah. Oh, it's big money. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Connor's where the value's at. And so is Ben. They both value, actually. They
I don't
both
see value in Ben, man, to be honest. Like, Eubank by decision. Look, the way he looks, I don't think he goes 12 rounds. I'm not even kidding.
No, I think, judging by all these weights and everything, what I think is Ben's stoppage anytime later on, I think it will be.
Wait, disqualification 51 to 1, like 51.
If Ben gets
do you think they go crazy? They lose their minds and somebody, starts biting somebody's ear off or something?
Eubank might try to bite him. He might be so hungry for on the night or something. He might become a cannibal because he's so.
No. But one thing's for sure. Eubank's going to be fighting on the back foot. He'll be on the back foot, moving around, so poking that jab out, because Ben's going to be coming on the inside, head moving side to side, like he does, doesn't he? Trying to get inside, trying to attack the body.
Yeah.
Because the tactics here is you got to go for the body because he's weak.
Oh,
that's one thing. That's a fact. He's weak. His body's weak. His mid-torso's weak, like Ryan's was against Tank. Oh, a couple of touches there. I just want to see a couple of touches to the body there, body shots early on, and see how he winces, how he copes. First round. As soon as I see him wince like to side like that with a body shot, that's it. I go in play and bet on Ben, and I put stoppage because I always look after one round. Because I have that skill, and I can tell by one round. You have a look at them, don't you? And I can anyway. 1-2 rounds, and I go in play. You feel me?
No, I used to think that until I was wrong a couple of times.
I mean, of course, nothing's 100%. But I like to get a good look at them 1 round, 2 rounds, because you can bet in play.
Hey. Sometimes you can really see that.
Now, and you get better odds, because if the other guy wins the first round, the odds alternate.
Yeah.
So you think, no, that's just 1-2 rounds. The guy's going to come back. Your knowledge is obviously key in the matter.
Oh, yeah. Remember Chocolatito's Sriskin so wrong beside rematch? Chocolatito looked like he was walking to his execution, and that's what happened. You can see it.
Dude, one of the biggest turnarounds I've seen in recent times, and the odds, because I follow the odds in the fight, Berthabia versus Bivol. By round 8, Bivol was 8 to 1 to win. He needed a knockout, he's sort of essentially. And he turned. We all know how Bivol turned that fight round, didn't he?
He sure did. Beterbiev looked like he kind of ran out of steam.
Exactly. He ran out of steam. But Bivol turned those 8-1 odds, dude, in literally 5 rounds. He turned that shit round. It was incredible. What a turnaround. And I had money on Beterbiev. So I should know. I was following that shit. I lost that bet. I had Beterbiev, but kudos to Bivol because he turned an 8-1 round 8 around that motherfucker and went on to win. That's one of the greatest performances in recent boxing times for me because you can't beat a fighter turning shit round. Adversity, you know. I think he was losing. 8 rounds in, I thought Bivol was, he was losing.
I thought he was doing. By round 8, I thought he wasn't doing as good as he was the time before.
Yes, I mean he wasn't crazy behind, but he put the gears up. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. I watch the odds and I'm watching the fight because they're experts. The odds guys, they don't get everything right all the time.
No,
according to how the fight's developing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you, buddy.
By the way, guys, don't forget to hit the like, and the link is in the chat. There's 2 spots right now if you want to join. Limited panel, link in the description. And in the chat. Yes.
Hey, can we go back to hearing somebody talk about who's a cherry pick for Canelo and William Skull? I kind of at this stage, anyone who's not at 175 is a cherry pick for Canelo. He's still head and shoulders above everyone else in the weight class, and I include David Benavidez. I love watching Benavidez fight. I love watching him let go the machine gun arm punches. But I never see nothing out of the guy that could bother Canelo, Mm-hmm. And I think at this point, anyone's a cherry pick, even Benavidez.
Unless, I would say, wouldn't be a cherry pick, would be Beterbiev or Bivol.
Yeah, but that's at 175.
Yeah, 175. Yeah, but Benavidez is 175 now. That's the thing.
He is. He sure is.
So, but you're right. I get your point. But I don't know. Telk thinks that Skull has a good chance. Actually, a very good chance, I would say. That's crazy.
It's the first time I'll take your word for it. This is the first time in ages that, there's a big fight, and I've never watched one of the guys. I've never watched William Skull. I still haven't checked out any of his fights. He fought
Shishkin.
Oh,
yeah,
that's your
Vladimir Shishkin.
Yeah, we watched some of his fights off the air. Actually, guys, check out on Patreon. We post for free. You don't have to pay. We posted the watch party that we had, and there was nothing really impressive from Skull. But who knows? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe Telkind is right. We'll find out next week.
He's got nothing. I've watched a couple of his fights. I mean, he's got nothing Canelo hasn't seen. Because Canelo's resume, all the fighters he's fought, all the styles, everything. There's nothing that William Skull's going to bring that's going to be, wow, Canelo's going to be shit. I ain't seen that before.
Yeah.
Blam,
he's going to outslick Canelo. He's going to outslick Canelo easily.
I don't think so.
I don't think you're serious, man.
I don't know. I mean,
is he convincing
he might be one of the most clinchy fighter he fought so far.
That's not gonna do anything, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just don't see how Skull wins this fight. I don't see it. The Warrior Way in the chat says the real question is, can Skull make it 12 rounds with Canelo, or is it a KO? I don't know. Maybe he can make it for 12 rounds. He's big.
Like I said, I haven't watched Skull, but Canelo doesn't seem interested in knocking people out anymore.
I keep hearing that quite a bit these days. What you've just said, he's not interested. He goes going through the motions. Because he's done it so long, hasn't he? He knows how to win fights.
Well, I see it as kind of like Mayweather. I see it a lot like the end of Mayweather's career. Mayweather was never a welterweight. He was a 147 fighting at welterweight at the end of his career, and he could comfortably. He was head and shoulders above, and he didn't have to worry too much. And I think Canelo is kind of in the same place at his weight class. He doesn't have to worry too much. He doesn't have to put in the effort to knock out some of these big dudes. These guys are big, you know. Why bother?
I'll tell you what I find interesting is that they've already got a date, the odds, the time for the Canelo and Crawford fight.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My bookies, everything 365, which is probably one of the biggest betting apps in the world.
I don't know what to make of that fight.
It's a Sunday, 14th of September. Come on, guys, get your weekend off. You know, plan ahead. 5 a.m. here in the UK, which is what it will be. And Canelo is a 5-11 favorite. So Crawford. So if you on Canelo, if you put $100 on Canelo against Crawford, because those odds they've set now, they ain't gonna change. You get, well, they'll fluctuate a tad. You get 145 back. So you're only getting $45 on 100. But if you do it with Crawford, $100 on Crawford, you get 270.
It's almost a 3-1.
So, yes, you make 170 profit on Canelo. You make 45 profit. So obviously, it's got they've made the odds. They've set it now. That's what it is. And all going well. If Canelo wins, well, they're gonna. Shaky's going to make that fight. They've booked that weekend in, is what they're saying. Yeah, they've got the date in first, all going well. That's why they've said the 14th of September. But they get in first, don't they? They try and get in first, don't they, Butcher? You know what I mean? You have to plan a Canelo-Crawford fight. It has to be, you know what I mean? The date, everything has to be set in. And they set it for the 14th of September. All going well.
It's gonna be happening, and
that's close to Mexican Independence Day, right?
Yeah. Well, that's on the 15th, 16th.
Yeah, right there, right around there.
But I was gonna say that Skull is fighting. This is a tune-up fight for Canelo, basically, and Crawford decided not to take a tune-up fight for the Canelo fight.
It's a tune-up fight. Canelo
officially. I mean, this is how they see it. I'm not saying this is how they see it as a tune-up fight. The point is, Crawford is not taking any fights until September. So is that a good idea or a bad idea? By the way, Crawford was supposed to fight Skull. That was a rumor. He was the one that was going to fight Skull as a tune-up to feel, the weight, how he feels at 168. But anyways, he said he's not going to take any fights until the Canelo fight. What do you guys think?
I can't tell if that matters or not.
I mean, I think, it's all right, you, Butcher, saying, and you possibly right, I think you are right, about it being a tune-up fight, right? But like Talk thinks it's, Skull's the best fighter on planet Earth right now at that weight. He's going to beat Canelo. So what do we know? You know what I'm saying? So, and I am surprised Crawford's not having sort of like a feel at that weight and whatever, but then it can go wrong and expose him too much. I think by doing that, he's also not giving any clues. Because say he fights someone at that weight, a tune-up fight and whatever, to adapt, he's then going to give Canelo clues how he be looking, how he's performing, all that stuff. So, yeah, there is that aspect, because Crawford's skill enough. He's not, he's been in the game, so he's already, he can't learn anymore, so to speak. He's an old dog. So he's also got to conserve himself at the same time. So he's going to gamble like that, I believe. Go in, that weight and try, and also it'll be his swing song fight also, and he's going to get his pension money for all his big family.
Yeah.
And by the way, in the chat, FUTV says Canelo needs a tune-up. He's asking, does Canelo need a tune-up for a 147 guy? Yeah, you're right. I think it's a tune-up fight, but more of a stay busy fight, because Canelo, that's how he's operated throughout his career. He likes tune-up fights. He likes to stay active.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
But Crawford, I mean, he's not getting any younger, and then he doesn't even have a stay busy fight for one of the biggest fight of his career. Experimenting.
It can go wrong also. It can go wrong or whatever. And
you're right.
It's too late. It's too late up and expose him.
Yeah, what you said earlier.
Isn't Skull a champion?
Yeah, he's got the IBF.
It's IBF.
So how's that a tune-up?
Delkines and other people have been saying that Canelo should have fought Skull 2 years ago or during the past 2 years, because I remember some people saying that Canelo was docking his mandatory, which was Skull. So
I just want to know, how is that a tune-up?
I'm warning you.
Well, okay. Well, that's up.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
The same people saying that are the same people that are saying that Andre Dad wasn't a tune-up.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, I mean, it depends.
What did Andre pull to bring to the table?
He got dropped by Jack Nicholson, and then he ducked Peter Parker.
Yeah, Andre didn't bring anything to the table, man. His best days were not even at super middleweight. Put it that way.
He was another guy who, he never did nothing. You never got to see how good he really was. And by the time Benavidez beat him up, it didn't matter.
He went life and death with Vanez. Honestly, I thought he lost that fight. And then he went life and death with, what was his name? Jack O'Kay.
Sulansky, who? No. What's his
Jack O'Kay, exactly who? Like, who is that guy?
Yeah, but then you'd see him put someone down on their ass twice and carrying the rest of the fight. He's got something. He's got something there. He's
got hype. That's what that is.
Hey, you guys know who Benavidez is fighting next, right? Don't you?
Yeah.
Sure.
Who? Yard?
Anthony Yard.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Of course, it's going to be him. I think that'd
be cool.
It's viable. Because Canelo's not going that route. Because if he wins this, it's the Crawford fight. There's too much money. Crawford is going to make. They're both going to make plus 100 million each.
I would love to see Yard and Benavidez
I'd like
fight.
to see that fight in the UK.
I'd be shocked if it happens.
I would, yeah. I'd like to see that. I think Benavidez.
They're gonna take that fight to Las Vegas for sure. I don't know why the Benavidez wants to fight in Las Vegas. He has some deal or something. Yeah. He should go to the UK.
Yeah, he should do, because it would. The thing is, Yard ain't crazy. No. There's a reason there. Yard ain't crazy big in the UK. He's not he ain't selling arenas out. He's not as big as, say, a Ben or Chris Eubank. He isn't. It's plus, especially the weight he also fights at. That's not a crazy popular weight. It isn't. So it would make sense that Benavidez would get, he would get the home.
Well, Benavidez
but over in the UK, wouldn't they show up just to support?
Benavidez is not known. Benavidez is not
definitely show up.
But Benavidez is not known here. Benavidez is not known here.
Tell that to Mirage. He thinks Benavidez is some sort of superstar worldwide.
Is he? Fuck, he's not known in the UK. I mean, boxing fans know him, but casuals don't know who Benavidez is. But they'll just think it's like a brand of hot sauce or something. They don't know. No, it's facts. They just don't know another Benavidez. They don't know they don't know him like that here. Only if you into boxing.
Mirage would buy that sauce up, wouldn't he?
I've told him many times, and he knows that himself. He's not popular here. It's not that he's not popular. He's not known Benavidez like that here.
All right, Yard Benavidez.
Yes.
How's that play out? Yard is a true light heavyweight. He even looks like a heavyweight for some fucking reason, right?
Yeah, but Benavidez is big also too, isn't he? He's taller too, longer reach. I think Benavidez wins. I do.
I go decision for Ben.
But I disagree. He looks bigger. He doesn't look that big at light heavyweight when you compare him to other fighters. Like when he fought Sulansky. No, Sulansky, right? He didn't look that big. And
yeah. I mean, not big in the sense I mean, he's a tall guy, Benavidez, isn't he? He's got a good
That's
reach.
his weight division. We agree.
Yeah, and he's got good hand speed. He punches, Whereas Yard, I mean, it's proven now he gasses.
Oh yeah.
So
all that
muscle. Gasses. Yeah, all that muscle. So I think Benavidez stops him at the end.
Benavidez gasses too. We saw him gas against who is it? The ghost of Vosdick.
Yeah,
he just petered out when his.
Yeah, he gassed out against a gun-shy Vosdick.
I don't think Vosdick was gun-shy.
No, he definitely was gun-shy after that loss from Baturbia. Yeah,
he wouldn't.
Yeah, remember the fight that after he fought Baturbia? You could tell he was hesitant.
Yeah, but watching there, he wasn't gun shy. He was taking it casual, like it was sparring, like he was hired to give Benavidez some work, but not hurt him too bad. And at the end, he turned it on a little bit, and Benavidez had next to no answer for Vosdick when he started participating. He just kind of stood in front of him and let him not hit him too much. I think that was like sparring for him. I don't think he was gun shy. I think he was just casual.
So one thing I can see him doing against Benavidez, because Benavidez has like really, really bad footwork, or he'll get caught and get with a flash knockdown. He'll be dominating a fight, and I feel like that's what's going to happen against Yard. He won't be hurt by it, but I think it goes to decision. I do think he gets a flash knockdown because Benavidez just twists his feet up and gets caught all the time. It's
and the only reason they'll know Benavidez really is his association with Canelo. It's not because of what he does in boxing or whatever, because he's just like a normal convention, Mexican American, good fighter, which he is, yeah. But he ain't famous or anything. No one knows him like that. Nobody knows him. Only one solo dude out in Australia knows him, and the Mexican community. That's about it. And the Afro community in America. That's it.
The Quack says Vosdick was old and rusty. No, he'd had 3 tune-up fights, actually. He'd been back in the ring. He'd come out.
He didn't. After that Baturbia fight, he didn't look the same.
I remember through his record on those 3 fights, and there were nobodies.
Yeah, absolutely nobodies. But that means he was not rusty. Okay, that means he'd had 3 He had 3 stay busy warm-up, whatever. He had 3 warm fights before he took on a respectable opponent.
It's like that fight.
I would say he was shot.
Yeah, he was definitely shot. It seemed like that fire that he had within him just like melted, or not melted, but like it blew away. Like it was like somewhat there, like a flickering light.
And what happened at the end when he started throwing and landing the last few rounds? Because that was you saw a totally different thing. You saw him like start to fight. He was taking it easy. He wasn't supposed to win.
Yeah, but you're talking about one fight. What about the fights before that?
All right, Super Sardonic is saying in the chat that he looked awful in all those fights prior to the Benavidez fight.
Exactly. That's why
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I didn't really see
Quack says he looked slow and disinterested. I agree with that.
Yeah, that definitely. That's another.
And then he didn't.
He wasn't even getting hurt by Benavidez. Mm-hmm. Benavidez just overwhelming him with speed, but he wasn't hurting the guy. It sounded
I don't think it was bothering him at all.
Scary, but that was pretty much
people were what the shots do at super middleweight, but now he's at light heavyweight. People didn't expect Vosdick to wear the shots, and he took them like nothing. So did Morrell. People expected Morrell to get hurt more, but the only guy that was visibly hurt was Benavidez in that fight.
Good point.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Benavidez
light heavyweight
turned on. Benavidez didn't take those shots.
No, that's true. That's true. He knocked him down.
But remember before that when he came into the corner, remember he caught him with a check right hook and wobbled Benavidez.
Greatest knockdown, but yeah, he did put him on his ass knees.
Yard's got some heavy hands, at least heavier than Benavidez.
He's dangerous.
He's used to getting hit by. He's dangerous. And that's an exciting. That's one reason it's an exciting fight. You got a volume puncher. He was a dangerous guy.
He was doing well against Kovalev too, but then he gassed.
What about that guy that fought Plant? What's his name? McCormick, McCumbie, or McCumbie, yeah.
Fighting Pacheco.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight too.
I think he just fought again recently, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's fighting Pacheco next.
Yeah, McCumbie has the MAGA left hook.
Oh, I forgot. He's not in that weight class now.
No, but
Hey
Cumby's
guys,
fighting.
let's move on from Benavides. I don't know. Well, unless you guys don't have anything to say about Jake Paul against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Junior lost. If you guys remember, he lost to Vanderlei Silva. What's his name again?
Anderson
Silva.
Anderson Silva.
Yeah,
Anderson Silva.
that was
Yeah.
He's gonna be 40 years old, or I think he's 40 years old.
Genius matchmaking from Jake Paul. That's what it is. Genius matchmaking. Well, it's not genius. It's just picking well, isn't it?
He did his homework.
Oh,
the Mexicans probably.
It's creative matchmaking.
Yeah, it is. And they know what these guys are up to in their lives at the time. It doesn't take a lot. They got informants. They're doing this. They're living like this. Training camp. Yeah.
There was somebody like a private detective following Chavez Jr. when he left.
Hey, you do know it's happened in boxing back in the day.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm being serious. It's happened back in the day when they pick their fighters. Yeah, they're up on drugs, this and that. They see how they're partying. They're doing this. Yeah, of course they do. It's millions of dollars involved.
You're right.
So they know he's going to have a training camp, Chavez. But
you better know what's going on.
He's going to pay. He's going to get paid well
to train to gym. They do send spies and all of that.
Yeah.
Believe the conspiracy, my friends. When there's so much money like this involved.
Mm-hmm. True.
Too bloody right.
True. No, but that's a great pick from Jake Paul.
Awesome.
Chavez Jr. The name. He's on the decline. He's at the bottom, I would say.
I'm rooting for Chavez Jr.
Oh, me too.
I'm rooting for Chavez Jr.
He last fought 13 years ago. Make sense.
Is that true? What?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the professional fight or
professional boxing,
Yeah, I know he's had some fantasy shit.
Yeah, that doesn't count. You're right. Okay, so yeah,
he's a huge underdog. Look, if you put $100 on him, because the odds are here. Let's have a look, people. If you put 100 on Chavez, you get 575 back.
So 575.
So he's a 5-1. He's a 5-1.
That right there is good. I'm moving
Jake Paul, you get.
Yeah.
Jake Paul, you get $13 profit off 100. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, not worth it.
No.
No, and Chavez, is he gonna stop Jake Paul? Is he gonna be allowed to do it? See, I don't even with these Jake Paul fights, I don't know what the fuck's in these contracts. What stipulations
his
are
brothers in WWE makes you think that all his fights are kayfabe anyway. You know what I mean? Follow the script and you get paid.
Do you guys think that Tyson fight was fixed? A lot of people are that.
I wouldn't say fixed. It's an exhibition.
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't.
They're saying that Tyson was told to pull his punches. Not to land.
Well, of course, they have an agreement before you go. It's an exhibition.
Yeah,
I think if you cause the upset, if you upset Paul and beat him, you get paid less. That's what I'm saying. If you take the dive, you get the bonus. So, which Fury didn't. Tommy Fury didn't. I can't believe they gave Tommy Fury that decision when it was a Jake Paul. Let's face it, it was still a Jake Paul production. Even it was.
I was surprised as well.
I was very surprised. That was one, because that made me doubt. Damn it! It's not like the business. How did Tommy go? Because there was enough there to give it to Paul. Because Paul knocked Tommy down. So, because when in a 6-round fight, one knockdown, you can easily rob that shit.
Unless it's completely one-sided, which I guess that's
which it wasn't. It was kind of tight, and I'm surprised the business gave it to Tommy. I couldn't believe that shit.
What's the explanation for that?
Dude, it just makes me think that Tommy did have a lot of say in the business deal. And because he was a proper boxer, by me coming up on the scene still.
You think Frank Warren
affiliation with the Canahan?
You think Frank Warren has? Yeah, somebody. I mean, was Fury with Frank Warren at the time?
Basically, Tommy had more proud, and he wasn't going to bend the knee. Whereas someone like Julio Cesar Chavez is down and out. I'm sure he's taxes and everything's got to him. He's skint, okay. And he will bend the knee. It's not in the contract, but it's the look when they look at each other signing. It's like, the game, my friend. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying you.
They don't have a non-disclosure agreement.
Exactly. So Jake Paul, it's like an agreement without saying, so to speak. So Jake Paul is paying Julia, isn't he? He's paying Chavez. Chavez is getting a payday of a lifetime out of nowhere. So it's like a common courtesy thing, so to speak. Yeah, kinda, because he's getting paid well for it. Yeah. And who's going to care if Chavez gets beat by Paul right now? Next week, no one cares. He's had worse defeats.
It's not like he's going to lose any respect. He already lost a bunch of respect from the fans, from the Mexican fans.
And his allegations, all these drugs, this, that, rehab, everything. If anything, he'll be good for him.
He's a party legend. He's a freaking party legend.
But the thing is, if they were to actually fight, who would really buy that? To be honest,
I'm sure there's some stupid Mexicans are gonna buy it. I'm not saying most Mexicans. I'm not saying most Mexicans, because to be honest, I think this whole Jake Paul thing is losing its appeal a little bit, especially after that Mike Tyson fight. That was terrible. I mean, nothing happened at all in that fight.
That was shit. Jesus Christ.
So I think at some point you're gonna see the numbers start to decline. And this might be that fight.
I mean, he's on his last straw, isn't he? Still making money, whatever. But obviously, by then his business is already. He wants to be a promoter, doesn't he?
Well, he's already doing it, I think. No, he's promoting some female boxers, right?
Yeah, that'll be the next thing. So he'll be promoting.
Owner of the promotion that he's in. So take that into consideration.
Is Jake Paul good for boxing?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, he's worth enough money to be a promoter.
Well, yeah, he brings fans. I mean, he also has like a decent undercard every now and then.
No, there's two ways to look at it, from a financial and eyes thing and all that. Yeah. But from like the ethics and the respect of and all that stuff of boxing, no. Because
it depends. Because him as a promoter, him as a novice promoter, it's not that bad. But him as a fighter, that'd be a different argument. I could understand your argument there.
Yeah, the promotion and all that, yeah, good. But it's just like there's too many. Everyone wants to be like him, yeah. A YouTube boxer, this, that, and the other. It's become just a bit of a comedy thing, isn't it? Whereas the seriousness, it makes a foolery for me out of the seriousness of boxing. You know what I'm saying? From them, all the other people, all the other fighters that out there grinding, whatever. You got these YouTubers just doing fantasy fights. Come on.
Well, I mean, the argument is, though, I mean, I can make the argument there's boxers, like actual boxers, that act like YouTubers.
I mean, yes.
Oh, yeah.
There is. Now, there is. I have to agree with that. No, there is. Like Shakur, Haney. Yeah, but then
Ryan Davis.
Yeah. But that's how they all are now. And maybe they're a product of all that. And it's going to get worse, possibly. It can only get worse, let's face it, because if Jake Paul is the face of boxing, which he kind of essentially is, if you take the Canelo and all that, Jake Paul kind of is. You know what I mean? He's the one fighting Mike Tyson and Chavez. So the kids are going to look up. I mean, yeah, but maybe they're going to aspire to be boxers. There is that bit. But what's the
appeal for Jake Paul? Because I know the appeal to watch Canelo is because he's a very good boxer. He's one of the best boxers. He's a champion. Appeal to watch Tank Davis, I guess. I mean, he has power. He's fighting at the elite level. Whether you can debate whether he's good or bad, but he's an elite boxer. What's the appeal for Jake Paul?
Social media.
But he's a household name in a boxing match.
It's a social
household name in a boxing match against other people who are also household names, many of them.
Okay. So but he's fighting another household name in Chavez now. Before that, he fought Tyson. But what's next? And are people gonna get bored of this though? At some point, he's fighting
They already are.
washed up UFC fighters, old fighters. What's next?
I don't think so. I don't think so because there's people that are really into like stuff like TMZ and stuff like that, and it also reminds me of like that animation cartoon or play animation. What was that thing called? Celebrity Deathmatch minus the dead part. Yeah, minus the dead part. So
yeah,
I don't think it'll go away. I mean, that's just me.
I mean, you're possibly right because it is the way things are going. There's so many of these fights. Yeah, there's so many of these fights now happening, though, isn't it? Now it's just like.
Oh, you're saying boxing is boxing. The fact that boxing is not providing us what we want, and people are looking for something else. They're looking.
Well, yeah, we've got people, we've got boxers, the top boxers, at least in this country, providing us with, social media tabloid crap. And you've got a social media figure providing us with real boxing. Now, that's the punchline. You don't, the Haney's and Haney and Shakur and all these other, internet fighters, they don't need Jake Paul to do what they do. They do what they do with or without Jake Paul. That's just a culture thing now, I think. I think that's just a youth culture thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. They're social media creations, so they got all the loads of followers. So those followers are loyal, and they'll buy the pay-per-view.
And they keep most of their fights on social media.
Yeah, so they got like 50 millions and millions and millions of followers, so they're gonna have that percentage of fools that fall for it. And the kids and the youths and all that, they love it and they look up to these people. I mean, we're all adults and mature and all, we can see past it, but a young teen that, they just hitting their teens, they think these guys are superheroes and stuff. They actually do.
And I don't think Jake Paul can run out of circus opponents. There's always going to be somebody.
There's loads. There's loads.
I sure didn't see this coming.
I think what he's doing, I do really think he will want to pick on Canelo his final fight, because Canelo's going to hang around with. He'll try and pick on Canelo. Yeah, he's said it. He's said it already. He's called him out.
Like, when would that be? Canelo at 40?
It doesn't matter, but look how it will. It doesn't matter. Well, possibly, but Canelo maybe will think, "Oh, this is easy. We both make crazy money," and Jake Paul won't mind getting beat to Canelo, so to speak, because he'll also get paid. You know what I'm saying? He'll get crazy money too. So I think he's getting more. Jake Paul is building a resume, getting more and more experience, and the ultimate goal would be to fight someone like Canelo. Of course, he would love to get in the ring with Canelo. It would be like a dream for him, because he'll make loads of money, and Canelo will take it steady on him. Won't beat him up too much.
Do you think Paul would ever try to get a title fight?
You never know. No, it can be a side fight. It doesn't have to be a title shot.
No, but do you think he ever wants to fight for a title?
Yes, no. I think he wanted to do that, and then he lost to Tommy Fury.
I mean, do you see him fighting someone like Noel Mikhailian or Zurdo? I mean, I would like to see that.
That's crazy. I don't think. Yeah, but fuck.
Tommy was a live fighter for him. He wasn't going to bend the knee to him. That was a real fighter. That's why the business it really was. Whereas the rest is fully Jake promotions. It was. Tommy did have a say in that fight. Some say.
Has he ever fought 10 rounds?
I don't think so.
Everybody know that?
Jake Paul's all 8-rounders, man.
Yeah, he's 8 and 6s. 8 and 6s.
There's another reason why he's never going to fight for a title, because you don't have to go 12
Imagine.
You can barely go. Barely.
You think the money he's getting for 6-rounders? Yeah, little parody 6-rounders. He's getting some stupid money. He's not getting cut. He's not getting really bloody nosed. He's not getting hurt like that, and he's getting stupid money. And that's what I'm trying to say. Whereas there's boxers out there where they ain't gonna afford their fucking their medical bill for sure, because they're fighting for real. 12 nasty rounds, and Jake Paul's like, that's what I mean by making a mockery of the realness of boxing. Yeah, that's all. But I understand it's a democratic world we live in. You know what I mean? Capitalism.
I mean, there's also the cliche serious boxers that make a mockery out of boxing. Look at Devin the Dream Haney.
For sure.
Oh yeah, these guys fight on the internet, and they're supposed to be real boxers.
Yeah, that's right. Tank Davis, all them guys are phonies. Never been real champions of,
Ryan Garcia is pretty cool, man. He's he trolled himself to greatness when he defeated Devin the Dream Haney.
Well, he didn't defeat him officially, right? So
yeah,
that never
happened.
He
did defeat him.
That never happened.
That W was
he lost in court.
Yeah,
that was the second fight he had. Haney had expunged, isn't it?
You know when someone takes you to court, that must have really hurt.
Yeah, the fight in Mexico. Yeah, I saw footage of the fight in Mexico. That's pretty cool.
Bill Haney should have been taken to court for having Haney fight young kids in Mexico, building his resume. That's what he should be taken to court for.
He was fighting 15-year-olds.
Exactly. Fighting little young kids and off the street and stuff. It was like trying to build a resume. We've seen the photo, there's photos and everything out there. It's ridiculous. He should be in prison for that.
And the nacho vendors, you're fighting them too.
Yeah, he's fighting all them dudes.
You've seen that picture. Him fighting in like, it looks like a restaurant or something. Just in the middle of a fucking. He's fighting a literal midget. Like he's so much smaller. Like
I think he went the distance too. That's the funny thing.
He should have got
I went the distance.
Who's your favorite midget boxer?
What's that?
Who's your favorite midget boxer?
My favorite midget boxer. I don't know. Who will be a midget boxer? What does that mean?
Yeah, my favorite's Telkins.
What do you mean?
No, I'm kidding.
I'm 6 foot tall, bro.
I'm kidding, dude. I'm kidding. I'm fucking with you, dude.
Ready to fight now.
The best small fighter out there.
Well, it would be that guy, that Puerto Rican guy, the Collazo, who's knocking everybody out.
Oh, yeah, Collazo. That's a good hobbit.
No, what about Isaac Cruz? What about Isaac Cruz? Isn't he like 5'2", 5'3"?
Yeah,
5'3".
I also
Isaac Cruz was never good, to be honest. Isaac Cruz.
Fernando
I know, but like he's really short.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I like
what height is required? What do they call it? A short person. What's the political? Well, I'm gonna just say midget now. Fuck it.
I don't know. We can say that on YouTube, man. YouTube's gonna start like coming at me like.
Oh, my bad. Short person. Say that.
Little.
I think I saw Edward.
Can I say dwarf?
Little people. I think it's called little people.
Can I say dwarf? Is that offensive? Oh, okay.
What? Pygmy? Pygmy?
Jesus.
Is that a good thing?
Isaac Cruz should be 120. Mano says Isaac Cruz should be at 126, not 140. Yeah, but he's kind of like a bulky. What's that word? Like he's strong. He's like
bulky.
Nick Ball. How tall is Nick Ball? Nick Ball's like 5'2" or something.
Yeah, he's about 5. He's under 5'5". He's a beast. He is. Great fighter. Great little fighter.
Does he beat Fulton?
Fulton, yeah, he does. Fulton's kind of been exposed. He'll pressure Fulton. Oh yeah, you will beat Fulton.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
I hope so.
I think he's really good.
Hope so.
I think he's really good because Jake Paul. I was going to say Nick Ball. He makes you fight. He puts you on the butt. Yeah, it's pressure.
Yeah, I like
he's
that.
Good fighter. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I think
he's my favorite UK fighter.
He did a good job making him fight. So, yeah.
Right now, I think he's the best UK fighter.
Who's the best UK fighter at this moment?
Nick Ball. Nick Ball is.
Now, when you mentioned that, I started thinking, okay, and you're right.
No, he is. He is unbeaten.
There is no.
No, he is. He's the best fighter. He is. Unbeaten. He's gone to America. He didn't get beat to a proven Mexican guy. You know, that tall, ugly motherfucker. Wait, what's his name? I forget his name. He drew or something with him. He beat
Ray Vargas.
Ray Vargas. Okay, he's awkward, Ray Vargas. So
you mean Dumbo?
Okay, I'm looking at the champions here.
I thought he won that fight.
I thought he was going to fly his way to victory, bro. With his years.
And he also beat the American guy, Raymond Ford.
Yep.
So that, to me, is already two fights there proving he's legit for me.
That's another reason why I think he beat Stephen Fulton, because I think Ford is a better version of Fulton.
Facts. The styles are not far off. Yeah, so he does beat Fulton. I can't wait for it.
Angelo Leo, who's fighting in Japan.
Good fight against Tomoki Tomato coming up. That should be good.
Yeah, you mentioned that. And Rafael Espinosa.
That's a tall
people say.
That's a tall Mexican. the height is,
Man, I would like to see him fight Ray Vargas.
That would be hilarious. Their face off. He's just looking up to him and he's looking down to him.
Hey, people have been talking about Inoue fighting Nick Ball if he ever decides to move up.
Yeah, in a way, easy.
Yeah,
I would, but I would still love to see that fight. Stylistically, everything. I'd love to see it. But I mean,
favors in a way because Nick Ball's gonna be right there to fill the power. Generally,
I agree. Obviously, I've got Inoue. He's a monster, isn't he? I've gotten him.
Eventually, Inoue is gonna get exposed. He's gonna get knocked out like Manny Pacquiao did.
But you better believe it. You better believe it that if that fight happens, if Nick Ball and Inoue fight happens, I'll put money on Nick Ball just in case. Trust me, I will. Fuck yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. Yeah, but I know Inoue should win. Of course he should. But I'm putting money on Nick if that happened.
The thing is, Inoue hasn't fought at 126. Is that his limit? It might be. And, you fight a guy like Nick Ball, he's going to expose you if that's not your weight division, right?
And Nick Ball can go 12 rounds too. He's got loads of energy. And he's pretty... He's sound for that.
Well, he's got loads of energy, not taking shots from Inoue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Nick Ball, yes, he's a 126 pounder, but he's not the biggest 126 pounder. Like, I think Inoue will have height and reach over him. And also, look at pressure fighters. They generally get beat up by boxer punchers. Boxer punchers generally beat the shit out of pressure fighters.
I agree. Inoue knocks him just on the outside, so to speak. Hit a punch over the top of the head, so to speak, 1-2, and which he can. He's got height and length on him, and that speed. I knew he is. He's now bang bang. Yeah, I agree. But I want to see the fight for sure.
Oh yeah, for as long as it lasts, it's gonna be
I knew he's top.
In the chat, just don't forget to hit the like. Really appreciate it. That's gonna help the show.
Espinoza could give Inoue trouble just based off the height alone. But he likes to get aggressive too. Espinoza does.
See, the featherweight, that's the limit for Inoue. You start getting guys that are tall like Espinoza, and that's trouble for Inoue. Inoue, I mean, that would be the limit. I can't see him going beyond 126.
I couldn't see him going up to 130. 130 is just lightweights who can cut a little more weight.
Yeah.
You usually see when a 130 guy moves to 135 that they don't look any different than they did before.
What's the lowest? 126 no 130, you see a difference. Yeah, go ahead.
What's the lowest?
You see a difference. You do see a difference.
What's the lowest weight Loma can make?
Maybe 120, maybe, but he hasn't been there.
I would say 130.
130. He couldn't make 126 anymore.
I would like to see someone like Inoue. I know Loma's sort of at the end now, of course he is, but someone like Inoue, Loma, like a generational guy, quality guy. I would like to see something like that. I know Loma's, but Inoue is in his 30s already himself.
Yep, 32.
Right. But he's well preserved. He is.
Well, Japanese people don't look like the age.
That's the thing, you see. They do the yoga, don't they? So they last longer.
That's the Asian genetics. They drink all that green tea. That's why.
Exactly. But, if Inoue moves to 126, this conversation of Tank Davis and Inoue is going to come back, because remember that was a big thing 2 years ago after Inoue beat Fulton. You had a lot of these people from the LTBC probably calling for that fight, calling for Tank Davis against Inoue. So
yeah, they're saying move up to 135 when he just moved to 122.
Yeah, he needs to move up. Oh my God. That's how you can tell if someone's not a boxing fan, is their answer to everything is he needs to move up.
He needs to fight in America. Wants to be a star.
Mark is asking, could Tank make 126? No, he's never even fought at 126.
God, no.
But 130, I don't know. Maybe if Inoue moves to 126.
Maybe... Wait. How tall is he? Inoue
like 5'3".
No.
Who, Davis?
Hey, why is...
how tall is Davis?
Well, Davis is 5'5", I think, right? 5'5".
That's his official height. He's a couple inches shorter than that.
Inoue is 5'5".
Like
I don't know. Maybe if he didn't have that lifestyle, I think he could barely make that weight.
Davis is 5'4", and yeah, you're right about the lifestyle. But just I don't think Tank can.
That lifestyle, the way he eats, like that shit ain't happening. But yeah, he technically could.
And no more.
Davis hadn't been missing weight in a long time. He hasn't been. Davis has been on point with all that other stuff lately. He hadn't missed weight in ages.
Does anyone know why Inoue is getting away with fighting this current bum he's fighting?
Well, that's one of
the guy he's supposed to fight.
Eventually, one of these problems are
injury.
Bro. You want to keep on hands. Eventually, you're going to get
cuts.
Cuts, yeah. Okay.
Hands get sharp and cut you, bro.
But look, Inoue I don't want to conclude on that, but Inoue has to move on because he's completed sort of boxing around his weight. He's like way better than everybody else.
Well, they want him to fight Eubank. What's his name?
Nurshadin Akhmadaliev.
Jeez.
Akhmadaliev.
Yeah.
They call him MJ for short.
Yeah, MJ.
What weight is he?
Oh, more John.
He's in the same weight.
126. Oh yeah.
He's the guy that everybody wants Inoue to fight at 126.
Yeah, so
122. He's at
122. Excuse me.
Yeah, 120. Yeah, not 20. So yeah, he has to move up. He's like completed. He's, you know what I'm saying? He has to do what Loma did. Look at Loma fighting big dudes and a half, double his size.
Yeah, the only thing about that fight is the chance of it being a robbery decision.
You seen how Haney looked when he fought Loma? You know, his weight. He was looking massive, dude. He was looking,
the skull. The skull size was big.
Yeah, he's massive compared to these guys. So Inoue, I want to see Inoue really challenge, because if Loma can do it, fighting these big ass, bigger guys than him, I want to see Loma now under that sort of adversity. Okay, Inoue doing it, because he's like running out of time and that, but he's being calculated too. He's not. He's bloody awesome, but he ain't taking enough risks at this stage for me.
I mean, what risks are there? He shows up in a weight class.
He should do an fight against someone like
I'm calling him out, and I don't want to hurt the Inoue fans because he's got like cult following, and I'm part of the cult. I love Inoue.
Cult followers, yeah.
I want to make it clear, I love Inoue too, but I want him to start challenging himself and that. But the Inoue fans are sort of like the Loma fans or whatever. They're protecting him a bit now.
Okay, go ahead. Somebody wants to say something.
I'll just say one thing about this. Just think, you won your first world title in 10 fights. I believe he had 8 fights at the time when he beat Hernandez for the belt, and then he had beaten Ryuichi Taguchi, who went on to become a unified champion. He beat Omar Narvaez. That's the guy who took Donaire the distance, and he beat him in, I think, 5 rounds or less. Then he
knocked him out in 2 rounds.
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of his work was done in the first 10 fights, and then you talk about beating Donaire in the World Boxing Super Series. Then he beat him again in 2 rounds. Then he goes on to become undisputed again against Stephen Fulton, which everyone was really hyping up Stephen Fulton, this is his first real pound for pound test or whatever.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 4-weight champion already.
Yeah, but now he needs to really go up. I know he's going to possibly do it, but I want to now see him next because he's completed it, hasn't he?
Oh, not yet. He's got MJ Akhmadaliev.
You want to see the Nick Ball fight for you?
Yeah, no, I want to go. I want to see him at 126 so he can be like an absolute legend. I want him to see do Pacquiao stuff.
He's not doing that, bro. No offense. I'm gonna offend people. I don't think he's that good to do Pacquiao stuff.
Yeah, but I'm not saying do 8 divisions, no. But I want to see him challenge himself in that manner, to whatever his ceiling he thinks is 126, 122, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, but would that be the limit? 126? Would you guys ask for more?
I think so. I think so until he gets there. I think so.
You want to go to 130?
Yeah. No, 126 limits.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean maximum. But then if he gets there, beats them easy, so to speak.
Yeah, you're
then and he's feeling good, then it's like we'll be calling 130, won't we? So we don't know that one yet. Yeah, for sure. Because he might go there and break bones.
Can I put something into perspective real quick?
Yeah.
According to BoxRec, he's half an inch taller than Manny, and with a half-inch reach advantage.
Yeah, but Manny was more like his body was more like expanded. He's
very different body.
Well, then he can bulk up.
I mean, Manny Pacquiao's cat is the size of Mikey Garcia's head.
Yeah.
He was springy. Pacquiao.
I mean, that's what happens when you have excessive weight, though.
I don't think it was excessive weight. I think he was actually just fully grown into his role. I think his real weight class was probably like 135-ish, but he was like 112 because, he was poor on the street, eating rats and, eating his own dog. Where Noah Inoue was already that weight when he turned pro.
Your head gets bigger when you have excessive weight.
Not always, but yeah, it can happen.
HGH.
Yeah.
No, you don't even have to be drugs. I mean, look at. I mean, an exaggerated example would be like Butterbean.
Yeah, but that was body fat, though, not necessarily muscle mass.
It's still excessive weight, though.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't get excessive weight from muscle. That's extremely rare. Like it takes a lot of years and years.
Not rare. It's just you gotta.
Well, okay. So how fast could you put on 30 pounds of muscle, Muck, since it's rare?
Well, my body's different than most. Because my body. No, my body's different because my metabolism is based on a pill.
Well, metabolism doesn't have to really do much when you talk about building muscle mass. But as far as putting on fat, yeah, a lot of people could put on 30 pounds of fat if they eat enough. You put that on much fat. Muscle.
Like my situation's different than yours. Like mine.
Some people burn quicker than others and shit like that.
Yeah, metabolism.
I put on.
So
no, it has like I'm just talking about like because I don't have a thyroid, so.
Well, muscle mass. How you build muscle mass is based on obviously breaking down the muscle training and then obviously eating enough protein. That's how you build muscle mass, but that takes years and years of your body.
All right, guys.
There's a lot of hormones in that equation.
Let's go. Let's move up. Let's move up in the weights here because I'm looking at the lightweight division. We have Keyshawn Davis, WBO champion. IBF is Lomachenko, WBC Shakur Stevenson, and Tank Davis, WBA. So let's start with Cepeda Stevenson. Your thoughts about this fight?
About time. It's about time.
About time. I agree. Some people are like disappointed in the way Cepeda looked against. What's his not? I call him Tarver all the time. Farmer. Yeah, Farmer.
Yeah,
Devin Farmer.
Yeah,
this is his name.
Yeah, I thought he did pretty good. I mean, he outworked him. He beat his ass pretty much the whole time. Yeah, Farmer had a little bit of success here and there, but he couldn't keep up with the pace. And that's one thing Stevenson's going to have trouble with because he's not going to be in there at close quarters. He's going to be, doing his footwork to stay at range. How long can he do that? We'll see. I think it's going to be a much tougher fight than what people think.
You're talking about the guy that Gervonta Davis should have fought years ago?
Yeah, Tevin Farmer.
You're right. At 130. 135.
Yeah, they offered Davis $8 million, and Davis people said no, and they offered Tarver $2 million.
Farmer.
That's crazy.
Hey, Shed Collins in the chat says Stevenson easy work. A lot of people are saying that easy work. A lot of that is based on those performances against Farmer.
Listen, I don't know unless he gains all this punching power. All of a sudden, Zepeda's going to be throwing on his ass all night. So
I'm not.
Shakur's not gonna fight like Farmer. I think we all agree on that, right? Farmer, he was like a tricky boxer, but okay, completely different styles here. Stevenson and Farmer not the same.
Very different.
No,
I haven't seen.
Shakur hasn't got Farmer's movement or anything in terms of ring generalship, right? And sort of like, if you want to call it slick boxing and whatever, awkwardness. Farmer's a lot more than Shakur. A lot more than Shakur.
But Shakur can snipe from a distance.
Yeah, he has got that.
Shakur can pot shot from a distance. You know, and that's something, if you keep running into that, you know, that's going to take a lot of that, you know, hard charge and brawler off of you. I don't know if it's going to happen, but.
I still think it's Shakur's sort of hardest for opposition for a while in terms of what's going to come back at him. Because Zepeda, whether you hit him down, knock him down, which he does get knocked down, and he can put some shit performances too out there. He does throw volume at you, so he's going to be a challenge of sort, and he's going to make Shakur work for his win. Is what I'm saying.
Well, that last guy, that substitute that Stevenson fought, he put in some work, and he stuck around quite a while.
Very good, very good. Yeah.
And so, you know, I'd like to. It was nice. It was good to see some guy just go for it, and I sure would like to see Zepeda go for it. You know,
that's Quags. He was on the panel the other.
But it's funny how it's funny how they chose Zepeda finally. They chose Zepeda finally, right? Well, now that he's been having bad performances. Really, he's not been very consistent. So they've now gained the courage to fight him. And I do think, unfortunately, Zepeda needs a knockout. He does. He ain't winning no decision.
Are they overconfident?
In New York. Wait, I don't think so, because where's this fight going to be? And remember, he's been shitting on the Turk. Remember, he was shitting on Turkey, so saying he can't get a decision, I don't believe that at all.
Towel head or something like that.
Yeah, and also
Cowboys.
Remember, Turkey generally favors come forward fighters, so I don't know. I think.
Hold on a minute. Is this a Turkey production?
Yes, it's probably New York. It's in New York in the undercard of.
Yeah, I know it's in New York. Yeah, but if they do that sort of judging system they've kind of been using in Saudi Arabia, which is kind of different. It is. They was kind of scoring differently and giving the scores like halfway through the fight, and I think there is. I can believe that, dude. But still, the fight's in New York, and Shakur's the American.
But think about this. Think about this.
Dream.
Think about this. Turkey has been he was insulted by Shakur, but then apparently they resolved that their differences or whatever. No, I think Shakur apologized. Okay, but now think about this though. Who's gonna be a bigger star, Zepeda or Shakur? First of all, you have Shakur, who's boring as hell. You have Zepeda, who's more exciting, and he's Mexican. We're talking about value. There's more value in Zepeda.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think. I disagree. I think Zepeda, he might be Mexican, all that, but he ain't that really big in the Mexican community like that.
Yet.
He doesn't sell crazy arenas like that. He's an undercard fighter, and when he headlines, it's a small ass show. Okay,
because he hasn't defeated. But if he beats Shakur,
so is Stevenson now.
But if he beats Shakur, I think that then he might.
Yeah.
How about this? What if he had the same media hype? You don't think he would have been a bigger star right now?
I mean, in the Mexican community, yes, but he doesn't speak a lick of English. He ain't speaking like Ryan, you know what I'm saying? So he can't sell himself like Ruiz can. You know, Ruiz, the heavyweight boxer, these Mexican-American dudes that can speak English. Unfortunately, he's a guy who can't speak a lick of English. He needs a translator. When you start needing a translator, you're going to have to be some Usyk or GG or something.
Canelo. Remember at the
beginning? Canelo, exactly. You know, even Canelo was forced to learn some English, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because
get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
But why? I don't understand this.
Get the fuck out of here,
guys! Can you? I don't understand this love for Shakur. Like, Why trying to make him a star when he's boring as hell? I don't understand.
Because the Americans are dying out for stars, and they're dying out for a star in the East. New York, the region of New York, the east of America, hasn't had a top guy since Zab Judah, I think it is.
Whoa.
Well, not
as dry as anything.
I think you're right.
Well, think about that. Around the time
I'm right.
Pacquiao
A good 30, so I mean that they haven't had anybody in the East. It all comes from the West.
well, not just that. Like, just think around this time when Pacquiao and Mayweather, when they were in their mid-30s, they already kind of had another guy that maybe they were pushing to be the next star, right? Which was Canelo, which he was around 24, 25 years old. They're trying to find that guy. Canelo's going to be 35, and they're still trying to find out who's going to be the guy to take over for him. So now they're pushing everybody: Davis, Stevenson, Garcia, Lopez, Haney. So they don't have a a set stone guy like they did with Canelo, because they realize, okay, this dude's the real deal. He takes boxing serious. He looks like he's got a chin. He looks like he's going to be a pound for pound fighter. They don't have that.
Nada. I mean, they're desperate to build some sort of guy who can really take over and be the face of boxing. I mean, Crawford's dead. He's old now. He's out, and he was never even that guy, was he? So, and like I said, the East of America used to run boxing back in the day, but it doesn't now.
Butsen is gonna take over.
That's another guy. That's another one.
He's a fraud. He's a bit of a fraud.
Yeah, I think he should.
I mean, he's not bad. He's not bad. Okay, but I think Virgil will give him that work for sure.
I think he's having a 147.
I haven't seen the fight, but didn't he beat the Count Dracula?
Yeah, he did.
Stanionis.
Yeah.
He beat him decisively.
Stanionis was overrated like a motherfucker.
No, I thought he was good.
Nah, he wasn't that guy.
But I will say that he was inactive.
Oh, he was inactive.
Well, like I said, small pressure fighter versus big boxer puncher.
Did he actually we watched the fight of the year. I don't know who was there, but he didn't really beat him up to the point where the corner stopped it.
Yeah, I thought the stoppage was weird. Like, I didn't see the full fight, but I seen the ending. I thought it was really fucking weird that they they decided to stop the fight.
Yeah, man, he looked done to me.
Hey guys, do you know Liam Williams? Is it Liam Williams, that guy who fought Andrade and that? He's on a few people's resume. Welsh guy, white boy.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, Liam Williams. Yeah, I think Stanionis is no more than that level. That sort of guy.
What?
Yeah. Do you know? Yeah, he's right overrated. Who has he done? What has he done and fought? And who's he really beat? Nada.
He beat. Let me check. He has a good win.
It's because he's got.
He beat up. Yeah, that's probably the biggest win, but Butov really wasn't much either.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But Stanionis, I mean, I know he had that saucy because he comes from the Eastern Bloc and it's sort of in fashion, isn't it?
I think so. I was gonna say that a lot of he's Eastern European. Oh wow, Soviets.
Exactly. When Yanibek come out, Yanibek, listen, Yanibek that, which he is good, Yanibek. But it's like, my God, calm down and that.
Yeah, he's not Golovkin, man. Like,
he's the next GG. He's the next GG. He's the this. He's that. No, calm down. They can't all be good. And he's from Lithuania.
Lithuania. I don't know. I never heard of a boxer coming out of Lithuania.
Exactly, they're basketballers.
Yeah. But okay, so speaking of East Europeans, 154, it's full of these guys from Central Asia. It's not even Europe at this point. Who do we have? We have Murtazaliev.
Boachuk. That's another one. Well, he's from Ukraine, but yeah.
Madrimov,
yeah. Madrimov, yeah. Okay, in your opinion, guys, who did a better job at defeating Madrimov, Crawford or Ortiz?
Oh, Ortiz, because Ortiz left there. Like, no, there was no question that he beat him. He completely outworked him. He shut him down. He had the style to beat him. You had to overload his computer with punches. That's exactly what we did to our Crawford. It was a much more boring fencing match. And really, I had that fight a draw.
According to Red Breed, who we talked to him off the air, he says it was a very close fight. Like, he didn't beat him up, like, basically.
I scored that fight a draw, dude. I didn't even have anybody winning that fight.
Which one are you talking about?
The Crawford versus Madrim job. I thought that fight was a draw.
Yeah, Virgil did a better job. Virgil did a better job for sure. He did. Yeah, he did. But Madrimov was like the chaps just say more of a fencing fight and sussing out and whatever, but a bit more of a boring fight. Virgil put more, more on him, went through more gears, and it was a better performance, I think, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I don't get the people that say Crawford is this versatile guy that can do all these styles. Well, why didn't he become more of a pressure fighter against Madrimov when that's how you beat him? You have to throw punches and bunches to beat him.
I know.
He looked scared, man.
Like, he looked scared. He looked cautious. I wouldn't say scared, but he was cautious.
Yeah. He looked like he was trying to find his sea legs.
Yes, that cautious approach. It was a new weight, and he didn't want to gamble too much. I think for sure.
To Ortiz, Ortiz like just fuck it. I'll keep my hands up, but I'm coming there to bring the pain. That's what he did.
Yeah, he was steamrolling more.
Team Zoo, are you guys still high on him, or are you
exposed?
Exposed.
Depends on who he's against. Like I think Zoo and that would be a really good fight. Murtazalev, that's a terrible style matchup. I think Murtazalev would always beat him like that. He might do a little bit better, last maybe one or two more rounds, but I just feel like that's a terrible style for him.
He's a good fight.
I think he needs tune-ups. Build him back up mentally.
Keith Thurman.
One at a time. Too many people.
I'm sorry, go.
Amok.
I think he needs some tune-ups and build him back mentally, and throw him in the fire again against these other top 154 young guns and old guns. So I still want to see.
You're against the Thurman fight.
Yes.
Who the fuck? Who?
That's the fight they're planning.
It's happening, guys. I think, it's definitely happening.
Definitely, it's a good fight that for the where they're at in their career. The two of them, I like it. That's where they're at.
Switching topics, but because I mentioned Thurman, we gotta talk about him. How do you assess or rate his career?
I would say he was a good fighter. He was always put him in the solid B-level category, but none of his wins aged well. Like Porter and Garcia went on to get beat by other guys much better than what he beat him, in my opinion.
He beat him
Porter's
first.
probably his best win.
He beat him first.
Go ahead.
No, he beat them first.
Disappointing.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
I said disappointing.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that PBC had something to do with that. That was the way they matchmake over there. That's...
Yeah, the Chinese water torture matchmaking. Wait for the next drop to come. Yeah, that had a lot to do with it, and I don't think much of him as entertainment value. He like Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. Oh, that sucked. You had one guy content to lackadaisically sleepwalk to an L, and one guy who wasn't going to stop him. And Thurman's fun when he's against someone who forces him to fight, and then he's pretty damn good. He's pretty exciting, But you have to force him to do that, kind of like Sean Porter did, and kind of like Mario Barrios did, and kind of like Pacquiao did. That was good.
Yeah. 39, 40-year-old Pacquiao, beat Thurman, prime Thurman. So it kind of shows his level. That level of those welters, they really went down a peg when Pacquiao and Mayweather, even when they were in their mid-30s, late 30s, they were still better fighters than a lot of those welterweights that were in their prime in their late 20s.
You're talking about two all-time greats, man. Two all-time greats. Keith Thurman was a guy who never showed himself to be as good as we all wanted him to be. And by we all, I just mean your serious boxing fans. Never showed himself to be as good as we all wanted him to be.
That Pacquiao fight destroyed the whole thing. Yeah.
And actually, the fight that destroyed him was the fight before Pacquiao. His so-called warm-up fight.
Lopez.
He nearly. You could say he probably even lost that fight, nearly lost it. His face was fucked. It was the worst preparation he could have had for the Pacquiao fight. And I think his career-wise, very good fighter, but his body just broke down really early on him. He was already having shoulder injuries and surgery in his late 20s. That he was keyhole surgery and all that. He broke down way too quick.
I think he would have.
Good fighter. Very good.
I think we would have seen a different Thurman if he didn't light the fire under Manny Pacquiao. You remember all the shit talking he was doing in the conferences?
That was the problem.
He was gonna fire him and knocking him out. Yeah.
Yeah, so if he didn't light the fire to Manny, I think he would have been doing better right now.
He should have respected him more, right? Like he's old, he's small, blah blah blah, and then he gets beat up by this guy. Like now you're in the shit now. Like.
Yeah,
he was the shit talker, wasn't he? He was the shit talker, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was rattling the cage to the line. You know, that's basically.
Oh man.
He was known as a shit talker, wasn't he? Let's face it, he did shit talk a lot. But he wasn't a bad fighter. Like, he was good, but his body was fucked by in his late 20s.
Yeah. By the way, people who are just joining us, we're talking about Keith Thurman, but he's in the past now. He's gonna probably fight Tim Tszyu. Hey, Tim Tszyu against Boots Ennis. Do you think that's a
good fight?
That's a good fight. Okay.
Tim Tszyu, Boots Ennis. Tim Tszyu gets knocked out.
Oh, I'm not sure, man. I don't think so.
I hope he worked on his defense. I hope he worked on his defense, but I don't know. His last fight against what's his name again? Spencer.
Joey Spencer.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have to think. You know, when has he ever got hit by a guy like Tim Tszyu? And it's like he's getting hit by guys that he has weight on. He's not going to have that much weight on Tim Tszyu. And it's probably going to be like the hardest puncher he's ever fought. That's going to be a really, really good fight for him.
Wait, you think Boots hits harder than the Russian guy?
No, I'm talking about Ennis. I've said Ennis has never fought a guy that hits like Tszyu.
Oh, we don't know.
But Tim Tszyu's chinny. Tim Tszyu's chinny, though.
Ennis could be chinny. We don't know.
Yeah, he could. I mean, he could. Yeah, I like Tim Tszyu. He's a good fighter to watch. He is. He looks, he had that big defeat. Was it Fundora beat him, didn't he? And everybody was going. A lot were going for him. And Tim Tszyu and Fundora exposed them.
Yeah, Ennis just has we have the Ennis right now off his last fight. He's got a lot of hype back, but before that, people were saying like, "Damn, Karen Chikadze, and you didn't look so good here." So now, you're as good as your best win. But against a guy that's more of his size, how's his punching power going to stand up to that? A lot of the guys he fights, he has like at least 10, 15, 25 pounds on. So he breaks them down. He's not going to have over Tszyu.
That's true. He's now he's gone through the roof for Boots because everybody was hyping Stanionis. And, they made him believe that Stanionis was that guy, and he wasn't. So now he's getting extra credit when he ain't that guy. That's what's pissing me off, because I watched that. I was like, damn, I wasn't crazy on Stanionis like that. It's like, but everyone's hyping him, and then, boom, he was like domestic level.
That's the problem.
And I mean it. And I mean it. He was domestic.
These people who are hyping Stanionis, now they give up. They create this situation where
monster. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now fucking Boots is a monster, right?
He's a
the pound for pound statement.
He's getting credibility like he would have beat, say, a 154 or a Loma, so to speak.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
fucking Stanionis. He's getting Loma fucking credibility. No, he's Stanionis.
Yeah, you don't think of Stanionis. Like, you don't think of like Tszyu fought Stanionis. Tszyu wouldn't have knocked Stanionis out.
Yeah, I've got Tim beating Stanionis. No two ways about it. Yeah, there you go. So that's where I put Stanionis.
It was a respectable win, but it doesn't put him on some next level.
Well,
but
I mean, you're saying that,
good win.
There's already talks of him entering the top 10 pound for pound list, the bottom of the
that's what you call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know how that'll wear off in a couple of weeks. Boxing has a flavor of life kind of thing.
I don't think so.
No, I think it'll wear off.
I don't think.
Why?
He's American and African.
They turned him into a GG. They turned Stanionis into a GG. So now Boots is getting GG fucking praise.
Mm-hmm.
He beat GG for instance. No, it's Stanionis.
That's the media once again trying to find another star when Canelo's gone. So they're trying to put all their bags in Ennis. They're trying to put it in multiple fighters. Ennis is one of them. So that's why they're trying to really push him as the next pound for pound star. But he's 30 years old and really hasn't done much. Just about. He might be 28, but he's somewhere around there.
Bohachuk versus Boots, says Broton.
That's a good fight. And that's a guy that can wear Ennis's punches. He's going to be in a war with that guy. And he's going to fill Bohachuk's punches, too. He's going to need to box that guy if he can. He's a guy who likes to get to slugfest, Ennis does. That's a really good fight.
A good fight. Boots belongs like 154. He even said it after the current fight. Oh yeah, I'm struggling with the weight. He was trying to make excuses, but it's a reality. This guy looks way too big for 147. He looks like a middleweight.
And that's what, like, how can you put a guy on a pound for pound list when he's bigger than the guys he fights? That's the opposite of pound for pound.
Well, he's American.
But that's American.
He unified, two belts at this point. So that's all it takes, apparently. But that's the problem for hyping up Stanionis. Now Boots beats this guy, and what can you say? I mean,
it's a respectable win. It's a respectable win against quality opposition, and he did. You know what? If he proved, he showed that he was a notch above Stanionis, and he did exactly what a fighter who's a notch above the guy he's fighting should do: get him out of there. So, like, I don't know. I think it's just
that's what I like, that he did actually went in there and.
Yeah, it's true, but the thing is, he was able and allowed to gamble and try and take him out, because what was Stanionis' knockout power? He's an average puncher. Okay, he's only I think he's just under 50% his knockout power. So he hasn't got power like that. So Boots could take more chances, more risks. It's just, and he was a smaller dude, less power. Oh, dude, that was food. That was food for Boots. I ain't giving Boots no credit to me. No credit.
No credit at all.
Stanionis, I've seen better British domestic fighters than Stanionis. I'm sorry to say, it's true.
All right.
Yeah. Well, let's move up to 154 and have Ted Cheeseman in the ring with him. All right.
No, but let's be realistic here. He's gonna be staying at 147. I keep saying that he's gonna do this because of obviously less challenges at this point. Eventually, he will move up. He will have to. But for now, he will stay at 147. And there's money fights coming up. Money fights. Teofimo Lopez. People are talking about this fight. How would that play out?
Yeah. I just think Lopez is too small. Yeah. Too small and too inconsistent. When you're inconsistent and then a good bit smaller than the guy you're fighting, that's real risk. I see that going not so well for Teo.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. That's a fight I'm not even interested in.
It's a big fight, money fight. So that's what Boots wants to. I mean, he's in a good position right now. 2 belts. And he's going to wait for these guys from 140 to move up. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. Why risk all of that, all those paydays against smaller guys? Why risk that by moving to 154? Where you have some fucking crazy ass...
Butcher, he is going 154. That was the plan right from the start. When he signed to Eddie Hearn, right at the press conference, he said straight away, we're looking to clean up 147 sort of quickly, and move on. So he's like a 147 champion. He ain't going to wait for no 140. He's weight-wise, everything, making the way. He's going to go to the 154 now. They on about going to 168. Eddie Hearn said his ceiling is 168. So they're not hanging around at 147.
I don't think so. Yeah, I got to agree with that. I don't think he's going to get to fight Brian Norman or Barrios. No,
he's going to the hottest division in boxing, which is going to be 154. That's going to be the division going forward till it changes. 154 is the hottest division in boxing. If I'm wrong, please tell me. Any ideas? What
I think 154 is the hottest division. We actually did a special show just to focus on that division.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go then.
BDA said he posted that show. He's like, this is the best division right now. Or one of the best.
Oh, fact. Of course it is. No, it is. Especially with the guys moving up, it's like the name Virgil, Boots, everything. What's his name's there? Crawford's there. Everybody, it's crazy.
Pandora,
Ryan Garcia will be there soon, in 18 months too.
So Boots, Eddie Hearn, you're right. He said that their plan was to unify the division, then move up, and then somebody else said that he won't have time to do that. He won't fight Brian Norman Jr. or Mario Barrios, and it's true. By the way, everybody wants to fight Mario Barrios. He's like the weakest link. So
it's the way to get a belt.
The plan all along was to beat up on Stanionis, get a belt, and move up. easy belt
but
that
Eddie Hearn
was.
said unify.
Wait. The question is,
Eddie Hearn said unify. If I'm not mistaken, unify.
the question is who is Mario Barrios with? What promotional outfit is he with?
Well,
PBC.
Okay, so PBC, if you notice, they kind of do this. They keep a guy there with a belt, so that somebody can get a belt. Like one of their guys can come back and get a belt. They keep a guy there, like Barroso, like someone like that. They keep a guy there with a belt, so that one of their guys can get a belt eventually.
Well,
They have the monopoly. Monopoly, yeah.
They want the Pacquiao. Pacquiao's talking about coming back in July, and they're talking about this fight with Barrios. That would be great for the PBC. Oh, have one fight with Pacquiao. That's what they need because they're.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. Think about the Barroso fight and what a ripoff that was when Rolly fought him. And they kept Rolly with the belt so that somebody else in the PBC stable can get that belt. They want easy wins. It's really orchestrated, and I think it's a lot set up. I think a lot of people do it, but I think notoriously the PBC is known for doing this kind of stuff. Like it's shady. They get a so-so champion that you can take a belt off easily, and they keep him up there, and they keep him inactive for like a year or two until somebody's ready to just take that belt and then just hold on to it. Yeah. And then they just hog belts. They just hold on to them.
And wait for opportunities. And now Pacquiao's an opportunity.
I mean, that's it, man.
Yeah.
It's a good money-making opportunity. It's a smart business move, but it's also tacky because you're holding up divisions with these belts, and then you have
leverage. You have leverage.
Yeah, you have leverage.
Yeah, but they keep it's the monopoly, isn't it? Then they always keep in the power, the stronghold.
And that's something I've noticed over the years with certain organizations, especially the PBC, because they don't have a leg to stand on right now. They don't have anything.
No.
Tank Davis has already kind of semi been exposed, and Benavidez. I mean, Benavidez. I heard he's fighting Yard.
Yeah, that's a rumor.
Yeah. Well, there's always rumors. There was a rumor that he was going to fight Callum Smith. There was a rumor that he was going to fight.
Yeah, you're right, Callum Smith. I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's not just a rumor. They offered him a huge pile of money. Samson Lukowicz confirmed and admitted they offered him a large pile of money and turned him down.
Yep.
And that's funny. And that's funny coming from those guys because the rumors on that side of the camp is that they're offering everybody $70 million, $100 million, $50 million.
They're not making any offers. They don't have any money. Yeah.
But the rumor, listen, the rumor is
Lukowicz is playing using the art of the deal.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Yeah. We're gonna have people left and right, and they're gonna make the biggest fights, and then they're gonna make tremendous fights. Really good fights. People are doing.
Such a Benavidez thing. If all these rumors are coming out, though, he's gonna fight Smith. Oh no, he's gonna fight Yard. He ends up fighting none of them.
That's it's a marketing ploy, and I think it's just tactics. Like he's ducking, and I think a lot of people are really catching on to the whole thing. Like you're gonna, how dare you have the audacity to say that Bivol of all fighters, Bivol is ducking Benavidez? Who the fuck believes it? Who in the right mind?
We know who.
I caught that one. Yeah, it was just.
Samson Lukowicz is such an opportunist. Let's try to fight the guy when he's contractually obligated in a
he's the Benjamin Netanyahu of boxing. This guy.
Mirage will. He'll believe that. Okay.
He did believe it.
Bivol's a beast. He actually proved he's a beast. He is.
Oh, he proved it twice. He proved it twice, and he's gonna.
Because the majority. I think the majority were going for Beterbiev, and I was going for Beterbiev, and I did both times.
I was too. I was going for Beterbiev because I thought that.
And I feel I was lucky in the first time.
And I always knew Bivol was gonna give Beterbiev a third fight because of the sportsmanship. You know what I mean? Like he gave a rematch. You gave him. I was convinced that he wasn't gonna fight Benavidez.
Yeah. There's no need to. We all know who the better fighter is.
There's no need to.
There's no need to. Yeah.
He's not.
Unless they give him $70 million and they convince the Federal Reserve to print $7 million.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's no way they can come up with that money. It has to be fucking printed out of thin air. But yeah, no, that was crazy. Wait, let me just go back to the the weight divisions over here. We got stuck at 140. Actually, I jumped 140. What's happening at 140? Nothing crazy. Gary Antoine Russell, Alberto Puello, Richardson Hitchens, who's boring.
Oh, we got a good fight. We got a good fight coming up. We got a really good one.
Oh, yeah, but Barbosa and Teofimo Lopez, is that fight at 140 or 140 something? I thought it was 144.
It's 140. It's for his belt. Yeah, it's for Lopez's belt.
Okay,
yeah,
so it's
at
okay,
140.
So then, okay.
And then another good fight.
Who you guys got winning that? Who you guys got winning the TO fight? Anyone got Arnold?
Man. It's a close fight.
I don't know.
I'm thinking Tio because he does better in big fights, but I'm hoping Barboza just beats him.
Yeah, because I like to hear the Barboza opinion. And
Barboza's a better
he's
fighter.
Gonna win.
Hey, listen, Barboza's a better fighter than Cambosis.
Oh, okay.
He's a much better fighter than Cambosis.
I think so. Just.
And another good fight at that weight that's coming up is Pacquiao. He's belt against Matias.
Yeah, that's an even fight, 50-50. They got Matias just favorite at -100. I see that yesterday.
Oh, that's
good
a good
fight.
one.
That. Good. Yeah, who you got? I got Matias there.
I can't pick that one. Another can't pick him.
I don't know. I'm still disappointed with Matias. That loss against what was his name?
But it was a hometown fight though.
Paro.
It was a hometown fight,
Matias' hometown.
It was a hometown fight.
Like, he was fighting.
Sometimes guys fight in their hometown, they don't do well. It happens. It happens. So like when what's his name? Prograis fought in his hometown. He didn't look so good against who the fuck did he fight? That he didn't look, and it was kind of an average fighter.
It was his name was it was a weird name. I forgot his name.
What was his name? Not Cerrito. Was it Cerrito?
Zaria or something like that. Zaria, was it something like that?
Zaria, something like that. Yeah, and he looked like shit. It was awful.
So the pressure got okay. So
and Ivan Redkach is a better fighter than that guy, and he put it on Ivan Redkach, and it's like he's done better work against
Danielito.
Soria. Yeah.
Like a skunk almost.
Yeah. So anyway, some fighters just don't look that good at home. It happens.
Okay, so you're making excuses for Matias. We get it.
I don't know. I don't know. I think he's a better fighter than that. That's what I
hope
think,
so because I like the fact he has power and he's Puerto Rican, and we need the Puerto Rican.
And he's got an engine. He's got an engine on him too, so he could go. So I do like him. He's a good pressure fighter. He's a good power puncher. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, what about Richardson Hitchens?
I don't know.
His style.
It's boring. A little boring.
He beat Paro. He did beat Paro.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just kind of like. But then I don't know, man. I just. Yeah.
19 wins, 8 stoppages. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's not a lot. Jesus.
No, it's not a lot. It's not very. I just think about it. It's not very exciting. So I don't know.
Sorry, 7 by stoppage. KO percentage 37. Oh boy. All right, so you're right. Actually, I forgot that 140 is still pretty good. Gary Antoine Russell.
Who's he fighting?
Did he just fight?
Yes.
Who did he fight?
Fuck.
He fought Valenzuela. That's when he won the.
Oh yeah, his comeback.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. I saw that. I do.
But the rumor next fight for him is Andy Hirioka, which that's a pretty good fight. That's a Japanese fighter. He's pretty good.
Yeah, that guy's pretty good.
Oh wait, that fight's happening in Japan, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's because the PBC lost a purse bid or something like that. Something crazy. They couldn't come up with the fucking money. So this guy, Antoine Ross, is gonna have to go to Japan, and apparently this other guy can crack.
Yeah, he's good. Not bad.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, 140 is a good division.
You're right. I don't know why in my head I was thinking that a lot of these guys were moving up in weight.
You skip 147 and then you go to the best division is 154.
Yeah. Murtasaliev, do you guys know if he's fighting anybody soon? The thing is about Murtasaliev, that he's the guy that stopped.
Murtasaliev.
Yeah, he's the guy that stopped Team Zoo. He looked like Mike Tyson against Team Zoo, but if you look at his prior fights to that one, he doesn't look that. I mean, he looks dangerous, but not.
Like, how much of this do you think is Tim Zoo's fault compared to this guy being actually that good?
Exactly, a lot.
Because when you look at the fight, I watched the fight 3 times, and I got to tell you, Tim Zoo didn't do shit, dude. Like, he looked like fucking dog shit from the beginning, and he just employed the same tactic, which is come forward and don't do fucking shit about defense, and which he looked horrible. He looked fucking horrible. He just was stationary. He didn't move much, and I think maybe it's because he's got rattled from the first punch, and he never got over that. Maybe he couldn't move that much. Maybe his equilibrium was off. I don't know.
But he kept just like walking up to him and trying to throw like a wide left to the body, and the dude kept catching him to the head as soon as he would
Exactly. He left himself too open, and he wasn't even getting that close when he threw the hooks. He was kind of like mid-range, a little further away. You don't throw those hooks that far away. And he wasn't being cautious about it. I mean,
he was terrible. The defense.
Why are you going toe to toe with dude? Like, why are you?
Because he believed in his power, man. He seriously believed that much in his power. I'm gonna get him back.
Yeah, he was trying to prove something to his dad or to the crowd or somebody, and also, I've seen him make this quote like "warrior shit." I don't want to talk about it. Warrior shit. It's like warrior shit, motherfucker. You're getting your fucking ass kicked here.
Yeah, and apparently he before the Spencer fight, his last fight, he said something about how he understood the mistakes that he made in the Murtasaliev fight and how he was working on that. But then he fights Spencer, and I mean, Spencer's not gonna fucking test you. You know what I mean? So
no,
we haven't yet seen whether or not he learned anything from that Murtasaliev fight.
Yeah, and he also looked a little disturbed psychologically because you remember when he kept checking his head and he obviously wasn't bleeding. Nobody saw any blood. He didn't see any blood, but he kept checking anyway.
The fuck?
And I was like, "What are you doing, dude? You already checked your head. Like, get over it. Just get in there and fight." And he was kind of shell shocked.
He was shell shocked.
It looked a little weird, so I was just like, this has got to, you've got to do something about this whole thing. Like, did he change his trainer? Did he change his regimen? What do you know of anything like that?
No, I don't think he changed trainer. And other than that, no, just that interview that I read, he said that he made some changes, defensive changes.
Bucho, is this the controlled open lines? Is this what this is?
Yes. Actually, I have to remove people because if we get to 9 members, then nobody can jump on. So I gotta make sure.
Yeah, now there's only 3 of us.
Yeah, there's only 3 of us, guys. If you want to jump in, and you want to talk about anything specific, just let us know. Yeah, just to remind you guys, hit the like button, hit the like. Also, let me remind you, next week we have a lot of shows happening. We have open lines. Oh, okay, let me go from chronological order. We're going to have a call-in show. We're going to have a prediction show. We're going to have a countdown show on Friday and then a countdown show on Saturday for the Canelo fight. That means we're going to leave the stream running for like forever, since morning till night. All right, so stay tuned for those shows. Anyways, what we're talking about? Team Zoo. Fuck Team Zoo. No, listen, we'll see what happens. But see, that's why I'm not interested in Team Zoo against Keith Thurman, because that fight's not going to show me anything when it comes to teams. Keith Thurman should be retired. Yeah.
This Thurman shouldn't be fighting, and Thurman beat a really easy fighter in his last outing, and he made it seem like he did the world a favor by coming back. He made it seem like it was the greatest thing on earth. And now I'm going to call out people like Tim Zoo because I know that, because maybe I have a better chance of beating that guy and I can look good against him. And then also, I think he probably got paid better money doing it over there in Australia.
That's yeah,
true. For sure.
Because no one was going to buy that here. No one was going to go to that here. How many fans do you think the guys retained?
What fans? Yeah, no, probably. I don't know. I think Team Zoo has a lot of fans.
No, not Tim Zoo, but I'm talking about.
Okay, you got me confused because.
I'm sorry. I meant Thurman. I'm talking about Thurman.
No, no, you got me confused because Thurman never had fans. I mean, what are you talking about?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, well.
It's true. Like, when I've never even heard of it.
He had a little bit of a following for a while.
Yeah, back like 30,000 years ago.
Yeah, he did. He did have a following.
Yeah,
he was undefeated. Before he fought Manny, he had a following. He had people. People were always interviewing him. He was always out, and he was always really arrogant and took himself way too seriously. And took his skills way too. He would always bloat and say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be undefeated, man. I got the hands, I got the speed, I got the power. What do you got?" And I listened to the guy. I'm like, you haven't fought anybody, bro. None of you guys are fighting anybody, especially him. And I thought that he had the biggest and the loudest voice. And then look at him now. He doesn't.
Yeah,
you're right.
We talked before you jumped on. We were talking about Keith Thurman and his career, and we talked about how he talked so much shit about the Pacquiao fight, about Pacquiao. He was talking shit about Pacquiao. Remember, he was like, "Oh, he's old, he's small." Yeah, and then that's when his career basically went like it was over because he made fun of the other guy for being small and old, and then he gets beat up by a small old guy.
Oh, he was like beat up.
Yeah,
I think I gave Thurman 3 rounds of that whole fight. Like a 40-year-old Pacquiao.
He started to pick it up later on, but that's just because of the age difference.
Yeah, Pacquiao started getting tired.
Yeah, but still, Pacquiao clearly won that fight, and so yeah,
I did. No, wait, I didn't pick Stanionis. Who said that? Somebody. No, I didn't pick Stanionis. I picked Boots, but I picked Boots by decision. I thought Stanionis was going to come in tougher.
I think we wrote it down.
I didn't expect a knockout.
I didn't either. I thought Stanionis was going to bring it. I thought, you know what? I thought he was going to be a better test than Karen, and Karen ended up being a bigger test.
Yeah, Karen was he didn't look so Boots didn't look so hot against Karen.
No.
Okay, I only have like 6 predictions. Vessel said Ennis by robbery. Mr. BDA said Ennis by decision. I said Ennis 7-5. Gene Ryu said Ennis by split decision. Nobody got it right. Never Sober says Ennis beats that ass. Oh, Never Sober's got it right.
Nice.
Rare Breed said Ennis late stoppage. Well, he got it wrong, but still, he was a stoppage. So
but he is stoppage. Yeah,
he got a stoppage. Well, he's a Boots fanboy, so.
And for Rare Breed, he was trying to convince everybody that this was going to be like Ennis's big marquee win.
He always says that. He said that against
Karen too. He was hyping up. He was hyping up. Fucking Stanionis, and I go, I know what you're trying to do here. You're trying to hype this guy up so when Boots beats him, and we all know he's going to beat him, you can come in and be like, oh, he's a pound for pound. Oh, he's great.
Not only his fans did that, but everybody else did that. They hyped up Stanionis, and then now we have this problem where all of a sudden this guy's now a top 10 pound for pounder.
Yeah, pound for pound, really, pound for pound. When there's guys out there in multiple divisions winning championships, and this guy's now because he beat one guy that he's pound for pound, get the fuck out.
Pancho Villa in the chat says, Ennis knocked out a small inactive welterweight. What a shock. Exactly. I mean, I give him credit. Don't get me wrong. Now I'm going to sound like I'm a hater. I give him credit.
He's got a point. Listen, Stanionis had only fought once in the last 3 years.
It was a good win. It was a good win.
It was a good win. I'll give him as a good win, but it was by no means a marquee win. Like, it was by no means a staple win. We gotta end that kind of talk. That's ridiculous.
No. If anybody disagrees, let us know in the chat, or you can jump on and debate us. Debate me. Don't be scared. But anyways, yeah, let's move. Let's go into here. What do we have? Wait, what about Erislandia Lara middleweight division? Carlos Adames, Janibek holds 2 belts. Oh yeah, let me ask you, Madrazos. We're talking about Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn.
I'm excited about it.
Why is that?
I liked it. I saw him on Pierce Morgan, and those guys fucking hate each other, and they were, in the most polite terms, they were debating and they were arguing with each other and exchanging words, and still because they're British, it was very polite. But you could tell that there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of animosity, especially like with Ben. Conor Benn has more hatred, and Chris Eubank kind of like just is a little more dismissive of Conor Benn, like he's an annoying little brother or something. And it's not, he's not exactly like, I think it goes more one way. I think the hate goes from one side to the other more. And I think just the other guy's just a little bit more annoyed because he's younger or whatever. But I'm gonna say I have Conor Benn because Beefy Smith fucking knocked out Eubank, so I don't really trust Eubank's chin, and I don't really trust Eubank to keep Conor Benn off of him, especially with the weight dehydration clause.
Yeah, but then again, that loss against Liam Smith, it was kind of weird. There was a rematch, and he.
It was a fluke. I get it.
Fluke,
but
exactly.
Still,
that was a fluke.
But still, you let a guy that's kind of ancient already.
Yeah.
Shop worn.
So, somebody said, "How can you lose with somebody who has gray hair?"
Bro, exactly, bro. Exactly. Listen, he's shop worn. He's old. He's chinny. He's been through it all. He should be retired by now. I don't know why he's still fighting.
Yeah,
but
putting in the undercard.
He's an undercard fighter.
So that should never have happened. Okay, but now he's fighting. Eubank is fighting a smaller guy. But
he's
motivated. He's motivated. Exactly. He's gonna fight in his walk around weight. When it comes to Chris Eubank Jr., he has to move down in weight. He barely made weight. He looks like shit. And then he cannot go over 170 in tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So
the cards are stacked. The cards, in my opinion, are stacked against Chris Eubank in more than one way. So that's why I don't see him winning the fight. And that's it. I think Ben's going to come in stronger. He's going to come in at his walk around weight, like you said, and he's going to be on it. He's got he's deeply motivated to win this fight, and he's going to have the physical attributes to do it. If for some reason Eubank pulls this out, then I'll give him a lot of credit. I still will give him credit because he's fighting his age. He is also shop worn, and he's dehydrated. So
Eubank wins, you give him credit, and then
of course.
We were talking about what's next after this. Like, okay, let's say there's no rematch. Somebody was talking about like Eubank getting a title shot, but I'm like, where is he gonna get a title shot? He's not gonna stay at 160.
No, he can't stay. Conor Benn can't stay at 160.
He wants this for Canelo next.
I can barely hear you. Can you
wait? What
did you see that they want Canelo against whoever wins here?
Who said that?
That's fucking ridiculous, dude. Who said that?
WBC.
Okay, wait, hold on.
No,
First of all,
dude.
Canelo would never fight. I mean, Canelo against Chris Eubank.
I don't know.
Conor
sorry,
Benn?
against Ben. Sorry, that fight.
That's ridiculous.
Well, maybe.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
don't
said.
know. Nobody knows. Canelo, listen, Canelo's gonna be fighting Crawford in September, so I don't think he's gonna be fighting in December. So that's it for 2025.
You know what though? Canelo's like, I've considered Canelo semi-retired already because he's been fighting all these cans.
Yeah.
And I don't like. I'm kind of like, this guy needs to retire already because I can't see him fight another Munguia or another fucking Berlanga. That's nonsense.
Yeah.
The guy shouldn't be. The guy should, like. Listen. We make fun of guys that have names, that are supposed names that they make a whole career out of stay busy fights, and that's all they do. All they do is take stay busy fights, fighting journeymen, fighting older guys. Not even that. Not even older champions. Just journeymen and fighting lower tier competition, and they just take stay busy fights. You name it. Name some of the fighters like Benavidez or Charlo or any of those guys that somewhat have a name or had a name. That's all they do. They make a whole career out of stay busy fights, and that's what Canelo's doing now. Now he's making a career out of stay busy fights, and I just don't want to see. I have no interest in seeing those fights. So this William Skull fight, I don't know. I'm in the back of my head. I'm kind of like, he might lose, and then I'm thinking like, you know what? It would be great if he lost to William Skull. It would be awesome. I would love to see. I
don't think it would be awesome because I want to see the Canelo Crawford fight. Just for
I don't even care about that because it's just a money grab for Crawford.
It is a money grab.
It's just the money. That's all it is. And if Canelo lost to Skull, I'd be like, well, farewell, dude. That's it.
No, but you know what? I think Crawford actually believes he can win the fight.
I know.
I think he's believing the hype, bro.
I know.
He believes it.
He believes in his own hype. He does. And part of it also is that he is older, and this is his last fight. He only fights once a year. He doesn't want to fight another guy in between. He doesn't like. How stupid can you be? You don't want to do a fight at 168 to test yourself. He doesn't want to risk it. He wants to get the bag. It's a money grab. He wants to get the bag and get the fuck out while he still can and get the bag. So if he goes the distance with Canelo, he's going to be like, I went the distance. It's a win for him, and he gets out of the sport. So I don't know if Canelo's going to knock him out because he hasn't been knocking anybody out. I mean, with Jaime Munguia, I get it. He did carry him. And I got to tell you, I saw that fight like 4 or 5 times. He carried that motherfucker. He totally
was holding
did.
back so much.
He was holding back so much because Munguia has no defense. His defense is awful. With Berlanga at least brought it with some power, and Canelo had to be careful because that guy was like 200 pounds. And he hit hard. And he took his punches. Canelo took those punches, but he didn't knock him out. So no one's saying Canelo's a beast. But he's a beast for that for the little guy that he is.
Now he's fighting a little guy here.
He's fighting
it's a win-win. He says it's a win-win for Crawford. If he wins, he's great. If he loses to a bigger guy. That's true. No,
kind of like they're not. They're like, but Crawford is still physically like just a bit bigger than Canelo still. But he's got longer arms, a little taller, maybe. I don't know. But the guy Canelo just needs to retire already. I can't. Like I said, I haven't bought a Canelo fight in a long time. And I'm gonna buy this one because I want to see the whole fight weekend. Like Inoue's fighting. I think.
Yeah, I'm buying it because it's a good deal.
It's a good deal. That's why I'm doing
it, bro.
Oh wait, if you buy, I think I checked. If you buy the 2 events, the Friday and Saturday events, you get a discount, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I was planning on buying them anyways because it's.
It's 2 for the price of 1, dude. That's good. I'm gonna buy it, but actually, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna go to my friend's house. He's buying it. So there you go.
Well, you're supporting the.
Yeah, I'm still supporting it though. I'm gonna go watch it, but I really do think it's time for this guy to hang it up, man. And you know what? I'm not that upset about it because there's it's not like 68 has anybody spectacular there right now. Like there's no one that really stands out at 68, so I'm not really upset about it. If he was a champion at 154, I'd be like, dude, get the fuck away. Like get the fuck out of the way so these guys could
he's not holding anything back,
He's not really holding anything back.
The only thing is that people that Benavidez were like
fuck that guy, dude. That guy, you know what? That guy spent 10 years at 168, didn't do shit. He ended up losing a belt and beating.
But then they said, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. You know what I mean? He's not in control of anything.
It was his fault both times. Missing weight, doing cocaine.
I'm saying it's not his fault. Whoever said it's not Benavidez's fault is a fucking moron. The guy,
check the last show, man.
The guy only fought one champion. He only fought one champion. He only got a belt off one guy. The other one was emailed to him. He only got a belt one guy, and that was Darrell. That was it. That's it. Other than that, he didn't do shit. Other than lose an email belt on the scale and lose his belt, the other belt on with the coke run. That's all he did. That's all he accomplished.
You're getting all riled up here. You're getting all riled up.
Yeah, but it's fucking stupid. I can't stand it. Well, it's not his fault. Like, what are you, his fucking masseuse? Is he talking to you fucking during the session or something? Like, get the fuck out of here. It's just ridiculous. I don't know.
Pancho V in the chat says Benavidez is an undisciplined cokehead. Ooh.
I mean,
listen. He's a light heavyweight. He has a lot of options and a lot of good fights.
He's got a lot of options.
Not a lot of good fights. I mean, there's Beterbiev, Bivol.
No. Hold on. There's an opportunity at 175 to make a fucking name for yourself right now.
Yes.
Because
no, that's for sure.
Exactly. So if he fights Anthony Yard and takes him out, great. He could fight Joe Smith Jr. even for a warm-up fight against Callum Smith if he wants. Like, he can start cleaning out the division. He can start cleaning everybody out until he gets that Bivol match. And if he does that, then we should all be like, give him the fight, Bivol. Don't duck. You can't just come up to Bivol and be like expecting a fight after fighting fucking Vosnik and then who else did he fight? And then a guy with 11 fights. Dude, go suck a dick. Go suck a dick. Like, you need to really make your bones here. You didn't do it at 168. This is your chance to do it now. And if you think you're at your prime, then go ahead. I personally think Benavidez has gotten as good as he's going to get, and he's not developing, and he's not getting any better. That's it. He's gotten as good as he's going to get. He's not getting better.
Nope.
And he's not a monster at 175.
He hasn't looked like a monster. I'm sorry, all these Benavidez fans are going to get mad. Oh, what do you mean?
No, he's not a monster.
He doesn't look like a monster.
He hasn't put anybody away at 175, and let's see if he puts Callum Smith away or Anthony Yard. We'll see. I don't think he will, but we'll see.
He goes the distance with both of those fighters.
Oh, he definitely goes the distance with both.
Yeah,
and I think Callum Smith will beat him, or they'll go to a draw or a controversial decision. And I think Anthony Yard has a better chance at beating him because he's got more power, and he was giving Archer problems for a little while. So those are competitive fights. How about that? I'm not going to say they'll beat him. I'll say they'll be competitive. And that's all I'll say.
In the chat, Off the Road Boxing and MMA says, what the fuck is this dude talking about? That's the reason approved the Vosnik fight for the mandatory idiot. Okay, I think he's saying
he's got to make it
that made him a mandatory fight or something, Vosnik. But listen, I don't care what the... but Vosnik was old, to be honest.
He was old and he was coming back from like a 2-year layoff.
He was old. And it was an okay fight. You know, it was an interesting fight because of
it was interesting.
It's a former champion, right? But the way Benavidez won that fight, he didn't do it in a monstrous fashion.
No, he said he tried to. I saw he tried. He was doing this. He sounded like a bitch. He sounded like a bitch. He sounded like a bitch that couldn't crack an egg. It was like he's trying to make an omelet, and he's like, I can't crack it. He sounded like a fucking cunt, dude. And I was like, what are you doing, bro?
Towards the end of that fight, it actually, what's his name? Vosnik looked better towards the end of that fight.
Vosnik looked great in the fight. Like, as far as he got hit, but the punches bounced off his fucking cranium like nothing else. I think Benavidez got more hurt trying to beat him up. And actually, that's what he said after the fight too. If the interviews, he said, I hurt my hand and I got an owie in my toe, and then also I got an owie over here, and then I have to go to surgery.
There were too many excuses. It didn't look good. Listen,
No.
Benavidez, but again, as we said, guys, Benavidez has a chance to really show us if he's a monster, how good he is. There's good opposition at 175. Obviously, there's the champion Bivol, then there's Beterbiev. And then you have below that some contenders that are pretty good. You know what I mean? And Benavidez is finally fighting at 175. You know, a lot of people said he was a weight bully. Well, now he can prove to us that he wasn't a weight bully.
But he's not, exactly. Now he can prove to us that, and in some cases, he's going to be the smaller guy. In some cases, at 175, he could be the smaller guy, and he's got a lot to prove. Dude, do it. And if he did it, I would support him. Listen, I was a Benavidez fan for a long time until there was all this shit talking and with no action. And then I'm like, I don't want to listen to this guy anymore. And his dad, they're fucking terrible. Like all they're doing is talking shit. His dad's going on interviews saying that Bivol ducked them and that they offered them a lot of money.
Yeah, what soured the relationship to me was when they took the belts away. Why did they do that? What was that about?
The belt. Well, they took the belt away from who?
From Bivol. Why?
Oh yeah, no.
Why? Just wait until the fucking trilogy's over and then get your shot in. If you really think you're the
well, I think that was the whole plan. Supposedly, like they just wanted to get the belt emailed. That was Sam Lukowitz thing, and that's the PBC again. Who's the common denominator here? It's the PVC. Who's getting the belt? It's going to be on PVC's side of the street now. Now they're in charge of the belt. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to hoard it. They're going to hoard it for another 2 or 3 years. They're going to milk this as long as they possibly can. And Benavidez is going to fight once.
Yeah, that's the modus.
No,
modus operandi.
Benavidez is going to fight once a year, and he's going to fight cans once a year to defend the belt. And then they're going to build up the drama of, that guy's ducking me. You know, it's silly. Let's talk about something else.
Yes, exactly. You read my mind. What else can we? I think we went through most of the divisions here because then we have Caleb Plant fighting.
I just want to say something, Bucho.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it would be really fortunate, I guess, for Benavidez if Beterbiev wins this fight against Bivol, because they could just age out Beterbiev.
Oh yeah, totally.
But if you want to unify, I'm holding on to the belt here.
Listen, if Beterbiev wins this fight, I think he's going to retire, bro. Because he's also prone to injury. I think he might retire. He's got to retire, man. That guy's. You know, as much as I like Beterbiev, when he started putting it on early with Bivol, he got tired, and he showed. His age showed. Like he was swinging and missing a lot, and he was getting frustrated, and he was getting hit, and it wasn't hurting him. Like obviously, Bivol wasn't really hurting him, but he made it. He knew he was in a precarious situation when he was missing and he would try to time Bivol, but Bivol just wasn't there anymore. And he couldn't really figure it out. He couldn't time him anymore. And he was just getting pieced up. And Bivol convincingly won the last 4 rounds easy. Like the first fight was more competitive, and the second fight had competitive moments and even dominating moments by Beterbiev. But once Beterbiev slowed down, Bivol took over and Bivol showed another level. Bivol showed another level, another gear, and he had
all without clinching. That's real boxing.
Yeah, without
clinching. He counted 4 clinches in that fight.
Thank you so much for saying that, because these are 2 fighters that don't clinch that much, and they're in danger. They're in hot waters here, and they're not clinching. He did it all.
Beef's got a cannon on him, bro, and you don't see Bivol running, clinching, and
no, he wasn't hit and clinch, or holding. He was boxing. And he showed another level. He showed me that he's one of the best in the sport right now, currently in the sport. Because Bivol hardly loses a round, and to lose rounds to a guy, you've got to be a beast, and that's Beterbiev. This guy, you got to consider the fact that when Bivol's last fights, all his fights, he doesn't lose rounds. He loses maybe 1 or 2 in a fight, and that's it. Like Canelo won maybe 3 rounds, and that was all because Bivol was just trying to get his timing down, and after that he just dominated him. So even with Joe Smith Jr. maybe won a couple of rounds or 3 rounds with him because he's a hard hitter. But
crazy, but I think Bivol stops Benavidez if that goes to a real fight.
At the 3-hour mark, so we're gonna end the show now.
All right, man. Hey, have a good night, you guys. Thanks for having me on, man.
Take care.
All right.
All right, on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Again, hit that like button, hit the like. It really helps us out. Don't forget, next week we have amazing shows because we have a prediction show, we have a call-in show, then we have what the hell? Somebody's calling me. Fucking I'm going to leave this shit. So, yeah, we have a call-in show, prediction show. We have a countdown show on Friday, countdown show for Saturday. Oh, post-fight show on Friday, post-fight show on immediate post-fight show on Saturday as well. So it's going to be crazy. Stay tuned for that. We have a great week of boxing coming up. Having said that, have a good night, guys. Take care.